Okay. Just in time. Woo! Okay, oh, my mic. Gotta snap in the mic. Hopefully that's testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Well, I hope my mic's going. Looks like it's going. I hope that is. I hope that's working out. And let's see if we get any people here. All right. Okay, testing. 1, 2, 3. Sí, 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 sí. Sí. Okay. Sí. Okay. All right. See this. That looks good. And do I need this higher? I need this higher. Okay. Okay, we got one person. First person. You're the first. Welcome. Let me just punch it into the... How do I get into the chat here? All right. Okay. Nothing happening here. Oh, lost a person. Lost them. Okay, here we go. I probably should have started this earlier, but oh well. Hopefully that doesn't shoot me in the nuts.
It's draft night in the NHL. The anticipation building as prospects from around the globe.
Welcome.
Their dreams.
Just setting up here.
Some will follow a path that other families have already walked. The Hughes brothers will soon learn that they'll be split 3 ways across the league. Or if the youngest Luke is destined to play alongside Quinn or Jeff. The World Junior Summer Showcase.
How's that board? It's still not high enough here.
Technically, the USA boys. Cheer up, boys.
What's going on here?
Team USA gathered to celebrate the names they're about to hear. The same is true for Team Sweden, also in Plymouth, Michigan.
Okay, we have one person. Welcome. I don't know why I can't see. How does my mouth? Oh, and I lost it.
Not just the draft, but just a great night just to talk hockey with my hockey friends here. Sam Costantino from Sportsnet. Good to see you. Yeah, great to be here. For our American viewers, he's our Canadian Mel Kiper Jr. Fellow cast member Kevin Weeks, on with ESPN and ABC for the next few years. Love to have you as a teammate, Weeksy.
Try and see if I can.
Of course, Jeff Gordon, former GM of New York Rangers. You were in the Buffalo Sabres chair this time last year. We'll get his thoughts
I think that'll
on that. So,
have to do it.
Again, it's a big night for this draft, setting the scene, but really a virtual insanity type of year, Sam. Trying to scout players off of Zoom, off a computer, off your phone. What's the challenge for GMs?
So many different elements come into play here, but it's the live viewings and the lack of live viewing where there's a big problem. You can't see what's happening behind the scenes, what a player's doing, behind the play, when he goes to a bench, how he reacts with his teammates, the coaching staff. And so you need to see all that stuff to complete the picture. Also, we missed out in the NHL Combine. That's huge. You get some physical testing in there. And
what we got here? We got none. Oh, man.
But face-to-face, shake their hand, look you in the eye. What's this guy all about? The character piece that comes out of it. So no doubt it's been a huge challenge.
Right.
Lots of video, a lot of conversation. Game time now.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the college scouts, whether it's college, junior, pro, those amateur scouts that are in the building, you know this. I don't want to give away too much of your trade craft, but all that to say they've got the glasses down and they're on the nose and they're looking in the hallway to see where they can see how the players appear to be maturing physically and where they're at. But a different year, as you pointed out. So it's different information gathering at this point, but nonetheless, it sets up to be very intriguing. Yeah, the variance of the team where they evaluate players will be very interesting after the fact. Jeff Gordon, Bridgewater State in the house. New York Ranger fans recognize him. Their GM who has brought that team back, constructed them the last 2 years, where they're on the precipice of perhaps becoming a time Eastern Conference player with a couple more correct additions. Also a great job in 06 with the Bruins as the interim GM. That helped, of course, spawn Stanley Cup in Boston. Jeff, you're in the Buffalo Sabres chair now. I'm really curious. When you're the number 1 overall pick, is it your call? Does the owner have your ear? How much do the scouts push you? What's going to happen with Kevin Adams and the Sabres today?
It's the general manager's call. I think as you go down the draft, the rest of the picks start becoming more of the scouts. But this is you're going to be attached to this player for a long time. You want to make the right selection. You've gone through the interview process. You've met the family. This is the general manager's process. This is my decision, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
And they, of course, on the clock, the Buffalo Sabres, the first overall pick of this 2021 NHL draft. Big major news before we hit the air tonight.
Who do they get? Adam Boqvist. First rounder, and that's number 12 overall. A second, that's in next. Oh, this season too. A second as well. And a first in 2022. Wow. Okay. Oh, wait. They exchanged first round picks. They get a 30. Oh, interesting. Interesting.
John, Seth Jones, the Chicago Blackhawks.
Huh.
Tell me what happened with this trade.
Well, it's not something that happened easily. With the Seth Jones situation, he did not want to sign an extension with the Blue Jackets with 1 year remaining on his contract. So we've decided to do the best that we can to get the return that we need as we continue to grow as a franchise. Seth's a great guy.
Here we got 2 people. Welcome. Welcome.
I know he loves this place, but he made it.
Somebody do me a favor and say something in the chat. I'd love to see what we got here, and I'd like to know how well my mic is doing. The show hasn't started yet, by the way. As you can tell, the board's empty, so it's all the little foreplay that's going on. They're interviewing GMs and presidents and blah, 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 blah.
So this is hockey. This is what it is. And when you're dealt cards, you got to deal with them.
Yeah, I don't see. Still nothing in the chat room here. Just looking for a word. Just a word. Maybe a letter. Can I get a letter? Can I get a letter in the chat room?
This is a great city. I know players that are here love this place, and we're going to get a lot of good young ones coming in here.
Thanks for joining me.
I know there's a lot of players that love this place.
Draft is going to start momentarily. If you can, let me know how my mic's doing there. Got the board behind me. That's all set up.
You're seeing that a little more, I think, in all sports, all pro sports around. Baseball players, basketball players are doing it, football players do it. We're seeing it now in hockey some. So you
can't seem to be able to type anything in the chat room. It's very bizarre.
Do the best you can in the return aspect of things. We're very happy with what this deal has become. Now it's up
I don't understand that.
Make sure we take advantage of it.
Don't understand what's happening to my chat room, yeah?
Ohio too, for the record. Went to high school.
2 people. There we go. I still don't see anything in the chat. I'm wondering what's going on.
Yeah, I think the reality of this.
Can someone just type in something in the chat? Even if it's something vulgar, I'll take anything. I'll take it.
It's a little bit like that. Got some picks here. Hopefully you can get forward with some picks.
May not.
Chicago gets a great play.
Okay, remember to guard your privacy. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think I'm getting somewhere here now. Welcome, everybody. Okay.
Seth Jones up there. This guy's elite. We know that. His ability to skate, control the game, play major minutes, and impact the game in different ways. Provide a little physicality, too. Doesn't hurt that.
Here we go. How's my mic?
Crafty move by Stan Bowman and acquiring Caleb. So those two will be paired with each other at some point, I would assume.
They're still chit-chatting. Nothing has happened yet, so.
Because now, as we look at this draft,
they're talking about they were talking about the Columbus trade. They're talking to presidents of the Blue Jackets, Davidson,
general manager, going to Philadelphia. He gets a D-man back in return. Ristolainen goes out. He gets a first and a second. Well, now Jarmo Kekalainen is sitting there and saying, if that's the asking price for Ristolainen, Jones is a better player. And so what do? We add that additional first-round pick. There you go. But it was Kevin Adams.
So a big deal. I don't know if you heard of it, but the big trade between Chicago and Columbus just happened.
Chicago, that great hockey city. Welcome Seth Jones for a long, long time. Well, of course, this is draft night. We'll have trades, and hopefully we have another big one as the draft night commences. But
There should be a lot of big trades happening so far. Who do we have in the chat? Who's there? Welcome.
Owen Power, hockey sense, vision, size, could be a number one D.
Cheers.
Matthew Beniers, future captain in the league. He'll play every
Next time I'll have a better
self-improver. Ken Jones,
camera
elite
for
brain, unbelievable skill.
this live chat.
To play center might be a top 10 scorer as a winger. It's like Kyle Connor in Winnipeg, who also went to Michigan. And tonight, Luke Hughes, who will play in Michigan this fall. With possibly all three of those players who've been submitted they'll return to Michigan, Luke Hughes could join them. We expect him to be a top 10 pick tonight, Sam. And this is your latest mock draft. How did you reach this point right here with these 10 players?
Well, you look at Matty Beniers, and he's a guy that Kevin talked about setting the identity for a franchise, and I think that's why he's a great fit for Seattle. And then you look down at Luke Hughes, the opportunity to be able to play with your brother. You know the family, you know the
Here we go.
You have some certain
Okay.
you're getting there, and of course, he's one of the younger players in this draft, so you expect his ceiling to be a little bit higher. And then you go down and you look at Ken Johnson. This guy is a highlight reel machine in the making. Mel Pearson, an embarrassment, Rich.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, just inviting some friends, and I'll take this phone out of my hands.
We do expect Owen Power to go first. Why?
There's so many reasons. I mean, we'd probably be on this show
Okay.
for 3 hours if we wanted to extol the virtues of Owen Power, the value and the merits of him being that one overall pick.
So this is interesting that it's the
Now
NHL
you're looking at somebody coming up
and
with
it's
Owen
not
Power, has a lot of the same
the
similarities.
Sportsnet
NHL
group
defenseman, big,
doing
agile.
this. I'm curious about
Dan
this.
Ninkovich, who works with him back home in Toronto, who also mentioned, and I saw on his Instagram yesterday, that this is a guy that wants to be at the rink all the time. I heard you talking off.
Let me
air
see
about
if
guys
I-
that love it, guys
I'd rather
that are
have
really good at it.
Sportsnet, to be honest.
This is a guy that's both. He fits both of those bills for me. That this is a guy
Now,
that wants to get the rink.
yeah,
all
it
the
looks
time.
like
I heard
it's-
you talking off air about guys
It's just
that
the
love it,
NHL
guys that are really
program.
good at it.
Sportsnet, I would imagine, be
He fits
tomorrow.
both of those bills for me. I think that this is the way to go.
Thank you for the thumbs up.
Yeah, when we were trying to build
Love
our
it.
teams, this is what we want: a 6'6" defenseman that can play against the best players. You play power play, penalty kill. You want them up.
So I'm imagining they probably won't be start the picking process for
Tons of character.
like another 20 minutes.
Talk a little bit about that dedication. So he's a Canadian kid at Christmas.
Now they're just talking about the top draft picks. Owen Power, we've heard about a million times by now. Oh, I need to get my draft book ready too.
It was all
Here we go.
being engaged in the process, going to the video meeting, preparing and doing all the things properly. I love that dedication.
I was just making a video just before I got this live feed happening, and I'm gonna have to add the Seth Jones trade to it because that just happened last second. That's right, Jack Eichel could be moved today.
Any reaction to what's
2 thumbs up.
Wow. Make you feel it was, and could we see more action?
2.
It was seismic, John.
I hope the mic's doing all right. You can let me know what that sounds like. I'd appreciate it.
But it was a huge day. The Vancouver Arizona deal was a huge trade, as you mentioned. The Chicago
Can you
trade
hear
was
the
a
Elliot
huge
Friedman
trade. Buffalo was
speaking right now?
the deal, as you guys talked about, and they're the team everybody now watches as they sit number 1 on the clock. I think there was at least one team that asked them if they would consider moving down from the number 1 spot. I think that team that tried to ask was Anaheim. I don't think it went anywhere. The Ducks are picking 3rd overall, but the Sabres showed no inclination to do it. I think another Sabres player, I haven't heard as much about Eichel today, one, because their price on him has been so high, but I have heard a lot of talk about Sam Reinhart. I think Columbus has been around there at times. I think Florida's been around there at times. I don't think they've been alone. So Buffalo is a team that will remain to be hot, the spotlight on them, even past the number 1 pick.
So it sounds like Reinhardt is more plausible to move today than Eichel.
He's our Adam Schefter. Follow him all night long and take you the very latest in hockey news. Thank you so much, Elliot. Let's do it. After a short timeout, it's time to begin the 2021 NHL draft. The Buffalo Sabres on the clock. Commissioner Gary Bettman.
Oh,
Join us.
we starting?
And then
Yeah, we're starting.
players from
Okay.
around the globe. Waiting
Here we
to hear
go.
their name.
Thanks for joining me, folks. What's happening? Rain? Yeah, I know. I had to wear this with like, they got like, so they have 3 picks? At least, is it 3 or 4? I think they swapped picks with Chicago in that trade for Seth Jones. So they might have 4. I'm a little confused on how many they have. I need to double check. I guess we're going to find out any minute anyways. So how's my mic sound, Rain? How's my mic sound? English. What is that looking about? I was looking for the right. Yeah, right. Mic sounds good. Okay, great. So it is 3, huh? Yeah, because they swapped draft picks there, or first rounders, excuse me, for this season. Chicago getting the late round draft pick. Let's see if it reflects already on Cap Friendly. It does.
Look at this guy.
So they have, so Chicago has Tampa Bay's draft, which is obviously 32nd overall.
The couch is calling.
And Columbus, let me reload this.
Says you can.
Yeah, now it still has 3 in the first round. Yeah, so they've got their own, Chicago's, and Toronto's. Still, that's 3 picks in the first round. That's not too shabby. No picks in the second, interestingly enough. Does everyone know about the trades so far today? It sounds good. Thanks, Rain. So here's the return, for those of you who don't know, for Seth Jones to Chicago. So Chicago gets Jones, a first-round pick, which is actually Tampa's, which is 32nd overall, and they get a 6th-round pick in 2022. The Blue Jackets get defenseman Adam Boqvist, who's like 20 years old. I think he's an RFA already, too. They also get a 2021 first-rounder, which is 12th overall, a 2021 second-round pick, which is 44th overall, and a 2022 first-round pick from Chicago. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of other moves Chicago's going to make now that they have Jones, right? I'm especially curious about that, besides the other stuff like Eichel and everybody else that's on the block from Buffalo. Rain, they got the 2nd round from Chicago, then traded it to Carolina for Jake Bean, right? Okay. Chicago overpaid on Jones. Yeah, I'm still sort of digesting that. I mean, 2 first-rounders, one this year, one next year, although Chicago had a first-rounder back.
13, 12, late in the draft.
And they signed Jones to an 8-year deal extension, so they have him for 9 years now.
I think first overall, it's a chance to.
I mean, he is only 26, right? So that's still math.
That have won Stanley Cup. You see a lot of
For
the opportunity to get the lottery pick is going to set up.
So he's 34 years old. I don't know when his birthday is exactly, but
Today with the trade, they have the 14th overall pick to go along with the first overall pick. The selection is coming soon, but first, Commissioner Gary Bettman.
Good evening.
boo! Gary Bettman speaking.
NHL draft. Given its place and time, shortly after the end of the Stanley Cup final, and the
Everyone quiet. Gary's speaking.
Future. The NHL draft is both the closing event of one season and the opening act of another. So let me begin by wrapping up the season just ended. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Has anyone read Burke's Law? Anyone? in the chat group. Anyone read that book? Some interesting insight about Gary Bettman in there as well. About him starting his career, coming from the NBA, etc.
Next year to conduct the 2022 NHL draft in front of a packed house at Montreal's Bell Center. Yes, for the second straight.
Blah blah blah. He's saying next season's draft is going to be in Montreal.
Rather, we are at the studios of the NHL Network.
5. We've got 5.
Future look at the draft. In addition to our partners.
You don't think you've read the book?
The 2021.
It's a good book, really good book. I'm not even halfway through, but it's a fantastic read so far.
ESPN.
I read a few hockey books, and this one is just definitely worth the cover price.
The NHL family tonight, picking second, the Seattle Kraken will make its first NHL draft selection.
Gary Bettman is just explaining what's happening still.
It has changed and evolved, but one thing has remained constant no matter the name.
Should I just write some numbers down here in the meantime, maybe?
NHL draft is where dreams of playing in the NHL and hoisting the Stanley Cup become more real.
3.
Congratulations to all of the players who will hear their names called over the next 2 days, and to the parents, relatives.
Sorry, my back is turned.
Who helped.
If anyone has any questions, please let me know in the chat.
So let's get started. The first selection.
Here we go.
of the 2021 NHL draft.
Here we go.
goes to the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo, you're on the clock.
Buffalo.
And there they are. They missed the playoffs the last 10 seasons. That's the longest active playoff drought in
With the
NHL.
smallest scouting crew, made beside Arizona.
There's a lot
In
to
the
fix here.
NHL.
They fixed the Buffalo Bills. They are thriving. But they haven't fixed the Buffalo Sabres yet. And so they're hoping this number 1 overall pick can be a foundational piece to do that, to make that pivot to the next level. It's the 4th time they've had the number 1 overall
Okay, we know it's
pick.
going to be Powers. Let's do this.
1970, Pierre Turgeon was very productive, and they flipped him for Pat Loffel.
Did I bring an eraser just in
And, of course,
case?
Rasmus Dahlin in 2018.
There we go.
He's an
Okay.
investment, and we expect.
All right, 3 thumbs up. Whoa.
Sam Casentino as Owen Power. The best available.
So I just write Owen Power on the board. I think it's pretty.
That there's any other way in which the Buffalo Sabres can go here. And again, that story really started at the Chicago Steel. It transitioned without a problem to get to the University of Michigan, and then it transitioned to Canada at the Worlds. And at every turn,
He is a left shot.
playing a lot of minutes and doing what he does best, just playing that calm, confident game, moving pucks, using that great skating ability, not only offensively but in the defensive zone.
So the picks haven't started yet, but I just wrote down Powers because, or Power, excuse me. What a last
I
name.
think he's got a lot more to show. I think he needs to be surrounded by better people. But boy, this would be quite a.
You think if he wasn't so huge, he might have been teased a little bit as a kid, but
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, listen, you look at that size, you look at the strength, the complete package, and you saw his family there, right? It takes a village.
everyone knows about Power. He's 6'5", 214 pounds, shoots left,
Hey, that's a short
plays in Michigan. It looks like he's not going to be coming back or not be playing in the NHL next season. Looks like he wants to stay in school for one more year
Let's take the pick, right?
with the Big Ten.
Let's go to the podium.
I think it's a good move. Buffalo's just going to stink anyway, so why?
The Buffalo Sabres. Who are they taking?
From the KeyBank Center in Buffalo, surrounded by a fair number of fans, Kevin Adams, the Sabres GM, will make the first pick.
Here we are.
On behalf of the Buffalo Sabres and all of our great fans, we are proud to select from the University of Michigan, Owen Power.
He actually found some fans to stand behind him. The GM, I mean, when he made the pick. That was like, really? Where'd you find those people? I'm kidding. That's me. Am I? I'm kidding. I know, I am kidding. Okay, there he is.
I think when you take the first
He's probably going back to college. There's no reason for him to play in Buffalo when they stink up the league next season. That's just not good for the kid, right? How tall am I? I'm actually standing with my legs spread so I can fit, and I can sort of fit the board in. I'm actually but I'm still short. I'm like 5'6".
That's a comp we're here. Yeah, there are a lot of comparisons, and I think one of the main reasons why is because you're seeing
How tall are you?
who
How tall are you?
overexert himself physically, doesn't initiate the physicality, yet uses his body effectively.
Powers. So Powers is off the board, ladies and gentlemen. Seattle's up next.
And he's going to run you through the end boards. And I think Owen Power's going to grow into that and develop that part of his game a little bit more. But I don't ever think he's going to be that big banger and crasher. But man, this really can impact the organization.
All right, yeah. So
skates like that. I mean,
he had in 26 games in the NCAA, he had 3 goals, 13 assists, plus 18. Welcome, third person in the chat. You're 5'11". Yeah, I'm slim, so maybe I can look a little taller because no baggy clothes. That's the key.
Obviously, you would have had a chance to see him play back home. He then goes to Chicago's deal, which is the unconventional route, but they have a great program that just won the Clark Cup again. So he goes to Chicago's deal, plays there, lights it up there.
Salute. Cheers, everyone, for joining me. We have a rotating of 2 to 3 people in the chat. It's coming along. It's coming. I probably should have started much earlier. I think I started just at 5 o'clock. I should have done it at 4:45. That's Pacific, anyways.
All that being said, he's played so much hockey and excelled at all these.
I probably would have had more people aboard, even though I'm already a small channel, right? So 2 people. Now they're just waxing Powers. Backstory here. Nothing you haven't really read or heard before.
You join at the end of the year, but that progression. There was a little bit of luck involved. Colin Miller got hurt. He got put up in a pairing with Troy Stetcher, and they couldn't take him off that second pairing. He was that good. By the end of it, he's playing all the high leverage minutes.
Rain's asking me if I watch other sports or just hockey. I used to watch years and years ago, like a lot of baseball. Just the Blue Jays, though. A little bit of football. NFL, tiny bit of CFL. But now, for the past 20 years, it's basically just hockey. And I used to watch a little bit of UFC as well. I still do on the odd time to time, but I couldn't name anyone really, except for McGregor and Jones. So the Kraken are just putting up their forward lineup right now. Donskoy, Gordon, Eberle on the first line, McCann, Yankork, and Blackwell on the second. The defense, Giordano and Larson on the first, Celsi and Oleksiak on the second pairing, Dunn and Lausanne on the third pairing. Their defense is huge. Their defense is going to be their calling card, right? And their goaltending shouldn't be too bad either. They just don't have enough forwards.
So this is the type of guy you're looking for.
Basketball, I just to finish the conversation with Rain here, I watch once in a while. Once in a blue moon, but I here we go. Kraken are picking now. Number 2.
On behalf of Mr. David Bonderman and our entire ownership group, I'd like to thank the commissioner and the 31-member clubs for welcoming the Seattle Kraken into the National Hockey League. And on behalf of our passionate fans, I'm proud to make a historical first-ever amateur draft selection for our team by choosing from the University of Michigan, Matthew Beniers.
Matthew Beniers. Yeah, a lot of people thought he would go first or second, excuse me.
Big-time complete center, PK, matchup center guy. Could be a power play guy as well. And so the guy who many feel has a bit of Ron Francis in him, Kevin. He's selected by.
Yeah, he does have a little bit of Ron Francis in him. Now, Matty Beniers. He's a center, 6'1", 174 pounds, shoots left.
And some of the coaching staff.
Hockey News calls him the best case scenario. He's like a Jonathan Taves. He's a good two-way centerman who's responsible defensively as well. He's probably a really good second-line center. That's what they're projecting him to be. Matty Beniers. And he's from Massachusetts. He's a masshole. I am also a masshole. Matty Beniers.
That's where they met in that World Junior. In the 3 cups, 1-1 for the Bees. courts. I know somebody like you would be able to sleep very
Manny
easy.
Benier is center, choose left.
Yeah, Hayes' version will give me 50% of that. We'll take it, right? I think Ronnie Francis would say that. This kid's he's a terrific player. He plays the whole
There we go.
well documented.
Should I switch up the markers?
Selection, I think, for Seattle.
Maybe I should. I'll make it interesting. I'll use some different colors here. Any requests? Who likes green? Who likes Rain? What are you saying there? I try every year to get into soccer, but get so bored watching, so just hockey for me, lol. I actually do. I forgot about soccer. I do watch soccer. My family is very heavily into soccer. Me, myself, I used to be into it a lot, but not so much anymore. But I do still somewhat follow the Euro and the World Cup, obviously. But that's the extent of it. Having a YouTube channel and doing it all about hockey takes a lot of my time. You try being married and having a YouTube channel and watching like as many games as you can each and every day. It's difficult, and having a job on the side, which you got to go to. So, and I don't have kids yet, so that's going to be another interesting combination of things to have while being a YouTuber. So I think the Kraken should be really happy with this pick. I don't think it's been a surprise for anyone. Who's on deck right now? Anaheim's got just over 2 minutes left. Any guesses as to who Anaheim is going to pick next? Anyone?
Here's a guy who wants to go to defensively responsible right here. Yeah, now take the puck and go. Anticipate the play. Take it one-on-one into the zone.
I'm going to take a guess here.
Once again, taking key draws down the stretch. It doesn't typically happen for an underage player at that tournament, especially the success that the U.S. had in winning that tournament. And then you think about.
I think it could be Simon Edvinsson, left shot defenseman, 6'5", from Sweden. They say the best case scenario for him, according to the Hockey News, is Seth Jones. That's my guess. Anyways.
He can play both sides of the puck. He can score with some skill and bring that identity to a brand new franchise. We'll see if he returns to Michigan.
Columbus, Detroit.
Now it gets interesting. We thought it would be Power and Beniers 1-2.
I'm just setting up the board here.
A great night for Owen Power and Matty Beniers, but the Anaheim Ducks are on the clock. What will they do? Find out.
Okay. All right, so any guesses? Anyone got any guesses who Anaheim's going to pick next? Nobody?
It's all smooth sailing until you forget to cancel.
Has anyone got this in front of them? That's really handy. Super handy. It's my Bible here. Soccer, just to get back to what Rain was talking about, soccer's hard to, unless you're watching the North American soccer, like if you're, European soccer is the way to go, right? But with the hour difference, I live in British Columbia. Which is good for watching hockey because the first games for me locally start at 4 p.m. and the late games start at between 6 and 7. So I can, if I'm home, if I'm not working, I can watch both games. I work in the film and TV industry, so it has allowed me some time to, focus on this YouTube channel a lot, especially lately in the past, since COVID.
Works indoor, works outdoor. It's weatherproof, it's waterproof, it's versatile.
And it's a commercial that I don't want to listen to. What's everyone's drink of choice tonight? Mine's an IPA. I'll show you what it is. I think it's from Ravens Brewery. It's a white IPA, which I'm not really crazy about. Doesn't have enough malt for me. What's everybody drinking right now? Pina coladas? Anyone? What about orange whip? Orange whip? Orange whip? Anyone drinking orange whip? No? Okay. So, Rain, whereabouts do you live? In the States or Canada or East Coast, West Coast? Don't worry, I'm not a stalker. 4 thumbs up. 4. But only 3 people watching. You know what? I'll take it. It's all good. Just having fun here. Oh, here we go. I'll turn it up. The Ducks.
As he looked to reload this franchise, it's a really inept offensive season last year.
The Ducks have made an interesting little setup here in the arena with their scouting staff sitting in front of a big screen watching the whole thing. It's a good idea. They're saying how the Ducks need more offense. They scored 2 or less goals in 36 of 56 games. They only have 2 players with 10-plus goals, fewest in the NHL, and they need playmakers to complement Zegras. So maybe they'll go after Gunther. Quite possible I was wrong. All right, here we go. Anaheim. Talk to me, Bob.
The Anaheim Ducks are proud of the 3rd pick of the 2021 draft. Happy and excited to draft the Peterborough Pete's hockey team, Mason McTavish.
Mason McTavish. Wow. Really? Interesting. 6'2", 207 pounds. Centerman, left shot. Best case scenario, according to the Hockey News, is Tyler Toffoli. He's got a real mean streak. He was ranked number 9th overall by the Hockey News. I knew he bumped up a bit, but this is pretty early. I definitely did not expect him to go in the top 4.
Manipulating the blade angle in close, he could shoot from distance as well. And then he went over to Switzerland because the OHL didn't play. And he
Mason McTavish.
Hey, I can do this. And he felt like he was chomping at the bit to get back to the under-18s to say, I'm going to destroy
another centerman. Left shot.
He went 60% of his draws. He continues to
he's good at the face-off dot, too.
He's making plays. He's showing off leadership. This guy is a warrior, and no question that Bob Murray's sitting there saying, I got another Max Comtois here, but maybe additional.
Maybe he's more like a Jamie Benn than a Tyler Toffoli.
Pretty good compliment to Zegras, too. If they get Zegras to the middle of McTavish, nice little blend of some finesse.
They think McTavish could play on the wing next to Zegras. We'll see how that works out. Not next season, obviously. I think that'll be too early.
Cycle in the offensive zone. And listen, as the games went along, he got better and better. And I love the power that he showed. People don't recognize he was born in Switzerland, by the way, so people don't recognize that. That's to your point.
He's got quite the afro.
Second division, playing very well.
Look at that afro right there. He's got a good distance wrist shot as well, as what they're saying right now. Where's my pen? There's my pen. Just going to break down here. Anaheim, number 3. Just making some notes as I yell into the mic. Oh, yeah. Could the Jersey Devils pick the other Hughes brother? That'll be interesting. They're all watching together in his house, too. All the brothers sitting next to each other. Huh. Any guesses for New Jersey?
So that makes the ceiling is higher for this player. And I love what he said to us in the interviews. He was talking about, hey, you guys are talking about all power and this and that. What about me? What about me a year old?
Now, the other Hughes brother is a defenseman, obviously left shot, 6'2". I think there's a good chance he'll get picked. 176 pounds. Best case scenario, according to the Hockey News, Erik Karlsson. He's taller than both his brothers by at least a couple of inches, I believe. So, any guesses there? Think they're going to pick Hughes? Luke, that is?
It's been a factory right now. And I really think of the Hughes brothers, not only is he the tallest, I might say that he's probably
Rain is asking if any of these prospects are NHL ready. You could argue that Powers is, and maybe even Matty Beniers, but I don't see either of them playing in the league because why would Buffalo and the Kraken? I think it'd be better from their development perspective to leave them in the juniors for another year to let them continue to develop. I think it would be much better for them than being on a team which is potentially going to lose a lot, especially the Sabres, right? So, yeah. So I think Power and Beniers, the top two guys so far, definitely. Maybe even McTavish, but I just maybe Anaheim brings in McTavish. But I definitely don't think Buffalo and the Kraken will bring in their top two picks there.
Michigan had the first two players taken in this draft with Power and Beniers shoes on his way.
Please, I don't know if you're new to the channel, whoever's watching, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm a small channel.
It's hard not to pass up Luke Hughes for sure. For so many
trying to get bigger,
I can also make
put some more
if you're looking for an
meat on my bones, so to speak. I don't know what I'm saying.
In terms of his stride, but he's instant offense. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them either with Luke Hughes or Brent Clark here with the
They also think Brant Clark might go. Who's a defenseman, a right shot. I think his brother will be really mad if New Jersey doesn't pick him, if they don't pick Luke. I mean, the whole family's sitting there watching, expecting it to happen. Rain is saying, interesting. It'd be weird not to see the first draft pick play. Yeah, I know. It's there is some precedent for it, but it doesn't happen often. Here we go. New Jersey Devils are up.
Tom, the floor is yours.
Wow. They've got a bunch of people crammed in some sort of conference room for the Devils to make this pick. I feel like it's got to be Luke Hughes. Any bets? Last minute bets?
New Jersey Devils are proud to present the pick from the USA Development Program, Luke Hughes.
Yeah, there it is. His brother. There you go. What do I win? What do I win, ladies and gentlemen? In 38 games, 6 goals, 28 assists with the NTDP. 6'2", 284 pounds, shoots left. Best case scenario, the Hockey News calls him to be like an Erik Karlsson. Jack Hughes, he was definitely let down in the first season, but he got a lot better this past season, and I think he's going to continue to improve. Let's get Luke Hughes up there.
Yeah, I think the only downside to this deal is there's no more Hughes brothers, right? Factor. Yeah, but no, this is a special time, obviously, for the Hughes family, and it's a pretty high-end caliber player to have with his brother. I love to see him enjoy.
Maybe Quinn Hughes doesn't want to sign a long-term contract with Vancouver. It'll take him to UFA status, and he'll want to go join his family in New Jersey. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, it wouldn't be good for Vancouver, but Luke Hughes, ladies and gentlemen, to the New Jersey Devils at 4th overall. Not too much of a surprise. A lot of people saw that happening.
Jeff, you talked about that trajectory, and you think that with him being one of the younger players of the league in this draft.
Yeah, in 38 games, 6 goals, 34 points, 14 penalty minutes.
You know, what's interesting about it is the fact that he played a large portion of the season on his offside. So now, when he transitions to
Thank you, Rain.
that's not going to be a surprise.
You are already subscribed, or you just subscribed? Columbus next, yes. San Jose and LA.
But here's some of the things that he does similar to what his brothers do.
The tag name looks familiar, so I'm gonna say you've been subscribed for a while. Am I right? You were already, yeah. Cool. Well, welcome back.
Get it down to the middle of the ice. Hey, Jack Hughes, this looks familiar. All right, I'm going to cut it back towards the middle of the ice.
We got 3 people. 3.
So the foundation for all of the Hughes brothers is based on that great skating ability.
Columbus is your home team. Okay.
Fantastic. It looks well in today's transition.
Okay. That's why you liked my shirt. I get it. It's been a while. I'm starting to have a little bit of memory. Did you watch last year's draft with me?
Exactly. Always has to fight. Always. Totally. No question about it. I love the fact that he's a two-way defenseman. He's gifted enough offensively to make plays and generate offense. He can beat a forecheck himself. He can activate in the offensive zone like a forward. But defensively, he also wants to match up. He also wants to defend. He wants to kill penalties. He wants to do these things.
They're talking about him as a two-way defenseman.
What a time for their family. I remember it's being just up the road at the Prudential Center. When we unveiled his brother.
More than anything else. What's Rain saying?
The thing about the Hughes family, the kids, is
Rain, you're saying you found me at last year's draft. That's cool.
So talented, but lots of
cool.
growth as a general manager. You don't want to go with a full beard children, right?
I'm pumped. He's playing college hockey this year at Michigan, frozen forward.
I might take a quick run to the fridge.
And maybe his brother Luke can help bring them to that championship they've been looking for now for a while. But now one of the big stories after the Michigan men, who now go 3 of the first 4.
I'm gonna run to the fridge. I'll be right back.
We know they have 3 picks. After the big Seth Jones trade today, they picked 5th. This is the slot they had. They also picked 12th. That's Chicago's slot. That's the pick they got in the Seth Jones trade. They switched then that 32nd pick. Chicago now has the 32nd pick. Columbus also picks 25th. So
Here we go. This is my adult beverage of choice. Ravens Brewing Co.
It's going to be the best again.
Knowing you have 12 right behind you.
Say
Forecast selections, or is that dangerous?
I think that's a little dangerous.
white IPA. I'm not crazy about it, to be honest, but it is local. It's from Abbotsford, British Columbia. Kind of a nice little artwork they've got going. Some local beer.
Of course, Seth Jones ended up departing out because he was States region.
Well, Simon Edmondson, the big defenseman, could replace that. They could take out right now. Gary Bettman introduced Columbus picks.
With the 5th pick, the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Oh, here we go. Blue Jackets.
Present John Davidson, president.
Davidson's going to make the pick. Chinikov last year. Remember everyone freaking out over it. Stouts or porters? Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I like them from time to time. Now he's going to thank the entire world before he makes the pick. There's Rick Nash standing behind him.
It's great to see you again. To make our first pick in the 2021 National Hockey League draft,
Nash?
I would like to introduce a great and long-time
It's going to be Rick Nash.
Blue Jackets, an Ohio guy, a
No.
former captain of the Ohio State Buckeyes, and one of the best broadcasters in the business.
Okay, it's not Nash.
Hey, D. All right, man. I wish I could be there. I know how the 5th line can get fired up, and some great memories.
It's a really nice town. I'm disappointed that they can't keep more of their players there long term.
Helping us rebuild and look forward to trying to get back to the postseason.
But they're doing it well, right? They got a lot of draft picks, so the future is good.
Passionate and loyal fan base, I think, in the NHL. So
They do talk a lot. A lot of hot air.
NHL draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets select
What up?
center Kent Johnson.
Ken Johnson. Hey, ranked 8th overall by the Hockey News. They say best case scenario, Mitch Marner. He's 6'1", 165 pounds, shoots left, and he is a center from Vancouver, BC.
punches and demos.
You happy with this, Rain?
This guy can be dirty in top set.
Of all the people in this draft class, he is within the top 3 most dynamic players, and it goes back to his ECHL year in the Trails.
You're saying he's one of the most dynamic players
He was the guy who was named the top
in the draft?
Look at some of the stuff this guy's thinking about. Archambault behind that little lacrosse goal. Hey, don't worry about it. Yeah, in tight, I can do that too. But hey, it's not an open. I'm just going to spin around here, go to the backhand, lift it upstairs. Oh my gosh, the boys with all these people all over, and this goal I absolutely love against Minnesota. Backhand, oh, right, oh, goal line. Oh, my goodness. In his under 15 year, this guy was 4'11". There was a couple of rides at the 4'11".
Rain's saying that doesn't sound good. Everyone is mad at Mitch Marner, but I trust Yarmo. Mitch Marner has just paid too much money. That's the issue, right? And of course him not doing much in the playoffs. I think he'll snap out of it at some point. Hopefully it's this coming season. But the problem is his contract. I mean, if he was making like probably what it should have been closer to 8.5, 9 max, the Leafs, every little penny counts. You know, I mean, in hindsight, you couldn't tell if COVID was going to come along. They were going to have a stagnant cap. But still, you know, that extra $2 or give or take $1 million, you can get a really decent depth, you know, bottom 6 guy or defenseman. I can talk for ages about that. I'm a Leafs fan. Much Marner, yes, dyslexic. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you. So for those of you who have just popped in, we got Buffalo picking Power at number 1, the left shot defenseman. The Kraken taking centerman, two-way centerman, Beignet. The Anaheim Ducks at number 3 took left shot centerman McTavish. And the New Jersey Devils, surprisingly, that's sarcasm, took Luke Hughes, left shot defenseman at number 4. Of course, his brother is playing there. And number 5 at Columbus took Kent Johnson, whom the Hockey News is saying the best case scenario is Mitch Marner. He's a left shot centerman. Weighs 165 pounds. He looks like a little bit of a smarty pants too. That's him right there. Right there in the corner. I'm gonna write this down. Speaking of which, Columbus number 4. That's Columbus. Did I write down the Hughes? No, I didn't write down the Hughes. So New Jersey, and that was at number 4. And I got the tappage down already. All right, got my bases covered here. We're in a commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers. Dyslexic. It's true, though. His salary was... Yes, it was crazy. He's overpaid. He's almost just under $11 million. I hate his agent. I really do, passionately. And I think Darren Dreger, not to be bitter, but I'm going to be anyway. I think he gets commission from this agent. I forget his name off the top of my head right now, but because Darren Dreger really pumps the value up of certain players, especially in Toronto, when it comes to re-signing contracts. But I'm not going to go down that black hole. I'm not going to do it. Dyslexic. I'm catching up here. Howdy. Do you work? You do good work, buddy. Yeah. Thank you. Rain. How many fantasy hockey leagues are you in? I'm only in 1, and that's enough for me, really. At the moment, I get so obsessive about it, and I couldn't imagine being in more. I'm sure I could easily do that, but with the amount of games and work and everything, maybe if I quit my day job, because this became my job, then I might join like one or two more leagues. But how about you? Okay, we're back on.
Owen, congratulations.
Oh, they're just interviewing Owen. Because there's nothing more exciting than interviewing a hockey player. Well, he looks good in those Buffalo colors. I do like the Buffalo uniform. That was it, the royal blue? It does look good.
It's real, and you are officially a member of the Buffalo Sabres. You and I.
He's talking out in front of his house, in front of a bunch of family.
This coming season, or to go back to school, you've said before you're leaning towards school. How do you feel in this moment about that choice?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not thinking about it too much right now. Just trying to enjoy the night. So.
Dyslexic saying,
Well, you got a lot of people there.
dyslexic, excuse me. I agree. Dreger seems to be in Marner's agents camp more than once. Oh yeah, he does it for all of that agents' clients. It seems he just. I get this feeling he's. It seems stupid, but I just. Maybe they have a deal where the agent buys him a lot of expensive wine, dinners, something. Something's happening there. Red Wings are on the clock here. Here we go. Here we go.
Is 10-year-old Harold Washington Jr.
Harold Washington.
Thousands of children in the city of Detroit who are experiencing the joys of learning hockey.
Detroit's up. Any guesses here? Anyone want to guess who Detroit picks?
Take it away.
Rain, I want Yarmer to find a way to get Liney out and get Draisaitl.
2021 NHL draft, the Detroit Red Wings are proud to select
From Frölunda, Sweden, defenseman Simon Edvinsson.
Simon Edvinsson, who was ranked number 2 overall by the Hockey News. He's a left shot defenseman, 6'5". International Scouting picked him at number 3. Hockey News has him as the best case scenario as Seth Jones potential. In 14 games with Frölunda, he had 1 goal, 5 assists. The scouts say he's got good reach and is very effective in the defensive zone. All the tools to become a star player. All right, so let's get this up on the board. Do we need another color here? How about this one? How about purple? Edvinsson.
Here, comes out to challenge the shooter. It's a block shot. Finds where the puck is. Now he gets back into.
It's so hard to write on this board.
Looking for his man, scoping things out. We're able to get the exit.
And
Terribly before he's able to break up that play. With that good long reach. But Edvinsson also likes to anticipate players. A rink line pass. Not on my watch. Thank you very much. I'll step up and neutralize.
Any Detroit fans in the chat group right now? Any Detroit fans?
Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more.
No. We got one Columbus fan. I know that for sure.
Once again, I'll go behind the net, little shimmy shake. There it is. One pass, exit.
Rain is saying, oh wait, I want you to Rain is saying I play daily fantasy games, but no season-wide fantasy leagues.
Saves you going back that extra.
Okay, cool.
You go back and have to do it or just straight year. 30th. Red Wings have picked a Swede.
Another Swede for Detroit. So he was originally ranked, Simon Edvinsson, that is, number 2 by the Hockey News, and this is like over 2 months ago. So he goes number 6. Detroit's going to be like scary good in about, I don't know, 3, 4 years, maybe 4 years. 4 years. And what does everyone think about the Nedeljkovic trade?
it's really helping.
People are saying Stevie Y's favorite fabric is fleece.
Things that small guys can do when it comes to puck handling and finding solutions down low. And the scout told me when you have a player with that.
Rain is saying, I do go to a Detroit game or two a year. They're close to me too. Nice. I've never been. I've driven through there maybe once or twice years and years ago, but I've never seen hockey there, unfortunately. The only place I've seen hockey in the U.S. has been, from the NHL perspective, is with a team that no longer exists, and that's the Hartford Whalers back in the 80s, back when Chris Pronger was playing with them.
What do you remember about your interview process with them?
And Brian Burke was the GM, briefly. Pierre Maguire was the assistant coach at one point. Now they're just interviewing Matthew Benier, the Beignets, the number 2 pick overall from the Kraken. Great pick for him. I think him and Ken Johnson, the pick for Columbus, are friends. Yeah, they played on the same team, but I think Beignet made was it one of the coaches aware of him? Rain, you say things that make you seem older than you look, and it's very confusing. Well, thank you. First off, I'm 45, so I was around, I don't know, like 8 or 9 years old. I was still very young, watching Hartford games. Yeah, in Connecticut. So Sean Burke was in net for them at the time. Shanahan was playing for them at one point. Who else was on the team? Sharks are on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. We got 4 people. 4. Welcome to all of you. For any of you who are not subscribers, please subscribe. Join the cult. So the Sharks, they need some scoring because they were 27th in the NHL, and their top goalie prospect has an 8.91 save percentage. They need everything, the Sharks. I'm not even sure if the Sharks can go like full fire sale right now because of the amount of the contracts for like Carlson and Burns and the no move and the no trades involved with those players too, unless they waive them. If you know, it's possible. And they ate some of the cash. Anything is possible, I guess, but I think they should just embrace it now. Rain, my thoughts were off by a decade and a half. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's very nice of you. Here we go. San Jose. It's got to be green. I got to pick green for this one. Let's turn it up.
The SAP Center is Doug Wilson Jr., Director of Scouting. Doug, the floor is yours.
Oh, Wilson's son.
The San Jose Sharks are proud to select from Djurgården, Sweden, William Eklund.
William Eklund, okay. Nice. He's a left shot, left winger, 5'10", 172 pounds. Hockey News has him as best case scenario, Sebastian Aho. And he's responsible defensively as well. International Scouting had him as number 10. He obviously goes in the number 7 spot. He's a good player. Good player. Okay, let's put him on the board.
years. He plays the entire rink. He's really
Yeah, they're saying he plays the entire rink. Very creative, very dynamic. Passer, goal scorer.
That ranks fifth all time amongst first-year draft eligibles in Sweden.
I think it's a great pick for the Sharks at number 7.
You're talking about some monster names. This guy's ranked fifth in that great country of Sweden. All the great players they produce.
Yeah, in a couple of years, he's going to be hitting their lineup hard, I think.
Of course, Edmondson just turned 18 4 months ago. He turns 19 in October. How much does age make a difference when you draft, Jeff? Is you're a real young guy, you got to kind of predict upside sometimes?
I think so. Sometimes what we do is when they're in the league.
Any San Jose Sharks out there?
Look back at the draft.
Any San Jose Shark fans? Anyone? Anyone?
It's pretty special.
So I'm just recording this down in my notes here. / the Hockey News.
All right, are you guys ready to feel all that we are about to?
We got some new in the chat. PJS 42290.
Christian Fittman Eklund has a popular video series in Sweden where he
PJS says, I joined when Columbus was picking and just assumed you were going to change your shirt for every pick. That was laugh out loud. That's awesome. That would be funny. You know what? That's a great gimmick. That's next draft. Maybe even tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll do that. I've got a drawer full of shirts. The only problem is I probably have to take them off the wall, and it would just be chaos. I knock the board over. It would be a mess. And, I'm already, dipping into the soda apple juice water.
That was a combine testing violation. We've only seen this go by a few times before I let you know what it was for. Arizona didn't recook the first round pick in a trade today, but that was the reason why they lost that first round pick. It was a combine testing violation. Now on to the LA Kings.
Just gonna update the board here.
A great decade, the last decade, as they raised a couple of cups. Now they're rebuilding. They got lots of prospects.
11.
They had two, Commissioner Gary.
12.
From the Toyota Sports Performance Center.
Here we go.
Chris Burns
LA.
will make the 8th selection in the 2021 NHL draft for the Los Angeles Kings. Chris, you're up.
With the
LA Kings
in the
on the board.
2021 NHL draft, the LA Kings are proud to select from the Barrie Colts of the OHL, Brant Clark.
Brant Clark. Okay. Right shot defenseman. 6'2", 190 pounds, from Ottawa, Ontario. His best case scenario, according to the Hockey News, is John Klingberg. He was originally ranked by them number 7, ranked by International Scouting Services at number 4, and he goes, of course, at number 8. They needed some more defensive high-end prospects, so it's a good pick for LA. I think. Any thoughts on this pick?
Was a rock star team. Then he progresses to Barrie, has a really good year there. The OHL doesn't start, so he takes off.
Yeah, he's 6'2", 185 pounds. He's 18 years old.
This is unbelievable. So
in his last season at the World Juniors, under 18, in 7 games, 2 goals, 7 points as a right shot defenseman. He played in Slovakia. In 26 games, he had 15 points. I think that was second on the defensive core, and he only got there halfway through the season too. So,
and so if you're making passes, you want to set up somebody else there for them to be able to do it. But I like this little shoulder turn. That gets the defender to bite. It doesn't have to be a hard shot. It just has to get through the net. It creates all kinds of havoc. A couple of shots later, it results in a goal. But he does that extremely well. He has the ability to get pucks through the lane. He's a little bit of a knock-meat skater, so that concerned some people. The interview process probably didn't go as well for Brandon.
First right shot defenseman to go anyways.
But at the end of the day,
let's just make a note here. LA at number 8.
To wait for open ice. That is something really special. He has elite puck sensibility, and that's why.
I don't know if you can hear that, but they're saying he has elite puck sensibility.
Exactly. Think of the Kings, right? Think of the succession. They had the great Rob Blake, who's their general manager, who's an awesome player. We all know.
Can everyone hear the broadcast clearly?
That's a guy by the name of Drew Downey out of the OHL. That went pretty well out of Guelph. All right, no big deal. Jake Muzzin, who was very serviceable for them too.
Dyslexic is saying it is. Haha, do it. Do it. Do it. Chaos gets ratings, man. That would be, you know what? Next season, I'm going to try that. I swear to God, the next draft. Because I'm going to change my whole background. And so I'll be able to, and there's not going to be shirts there anymore. It's going to be something else. It'll look good. Trust me. And it'll be much more, it'll be less, crazy. But still funny, because I'll be doing laps, right? Just back and forth.
On top. But what a night so far. 8 down. All 8 of them just.
Can hear you great. Awesome.
Family love for the Hughes.
I've got, you see my new mic? Everyone see my new mic? Ooh, that's actually a dead cat on it right now. So I don't know if you can hear the fan, but it helps limit all the outside noise. Shall I show you my new mic? I got this about a week ago, so there it is. Better than the computer mic, and eventually I'll get a better camera besides the computer camera for live feeds, because it kind of sucks, I think. Commercial. It's a commercial break, and I'm just gonna run to the fridge, and I'll be right back. 2 guesses at what I'm getting. I'll just take this. It's empty. Okay, we're back. It's commercial break. Did I lose? Oh, I actually got a person. Okay, here we are. This is something new. Very clear. It's a Radler. It's called Waterloo Pineapple Radler. This is from Ontario, and it's quite tasty. 2.5% alcohol. Everyone, even people who don't like beer, when they try this, like this. So maybe your wife, your girlfriend, whatever, boyfriend doesn't like beer. There's a good chance they'll like this. It's good stuff. What am I missing here? Your mic looks like it's wearing one of the Jamiroquai hats. It's awesome. Yes, thank you. I do have one of their albums. I do have their best of hits, actually. Oh, no, I don't. I'm thinking of Tribe Called Quest. But I do know Jamiroquai very well. Rain, I Come and Go. Here we go. Arizona.
Selection in the 2021 NHL draft for the Arizona Coyotes. Darryl, you're up.
The Arizona Coyotes are proud to select from the Edmonton Oil Kings, Dylan Guenther.
Dylan Guenther. Okay. Dylan Guenther for the Arizona Coyotes. 6'1", right winger, shoots right, 181 pounds. Hockey News says the best case scenario for him is Mikko Rantanen. He's got a real lethal shot. He's from Edmonton, Alberta. Let's get him on the board. In 12 games in the WHL season, 12 goals, 12 assists, plus 19.
They think he's going to be a 15-year pro. His ability to score goals is uncanny, and he can do it in a variety of ways. He can do it with speed.
That is him.
He can do it with his
right there.
Oh, yeah, kick that little soccer. Whoop to the backhand. Thank you very much. Upstairs, you got to love those unis. The Edmonton Oil Kings.
Ranked number 3 by the Hockey News, number 6 internationally, and he goes number 9.
What's really cool about him is the fact that he plays in the same barn as the Edmonton Oilers. Hey, Draisaitl, McDavid, Nursey, come on over for a little picture. I'll be joining you soon on that NHL ice. What's really cool about this guy, at the end of the year, he goes into Brad Lauer. Last year, he says, what can I do to be better? How can I be a better goal scorer? Lauer says, I'm going to show you some clips here. You need to get a little bit lower, a little bit closer to the net. You need to start utilizing that low ice and then taking it out in front. Use that body, lean into it, and use that great hand.
Okay, Gunther.
We saw a couple of examples.
Good land for them at number 9
he wants to,
for Arizona.
16 years old. Brad Lauer's not using you on the PK. You got to earn your chops, son.
Any Arizona fans out of the 3 people who are watching?
So we learned it. Dave Barr takes him, puts him on the PK at the under 18s. No problem at all. He was so effective. Every time there was a PK, he was out there, and it was a highly successful.
Of course, Arizona didn't have a first-round pick last year.
Dylan Gunther's work. He is a constant learner, this guy. A 15-year.
And they wouldn't have had this one this year either if they didn't trade for one.
And what I like about him when you see him is he can also make plays. So because the best players want to play with him too. He's not just going to shoot every time he touches it. So that would be intriguing. I like what Billy Armstrong's done this week. It added some picks to the organization when they didn't have any, and you can clearly see where they're going. You know, maybe they're on the clock for next year already with it, but I love what he's doing. I can see the design. And
yeah, they pulled a rabbit out of that here.
9, get there. Let me just write this down. I'm going to get back to the chat here in a second.
Projected inside the top 10 of Dylan Gunther. It was the first overall pick in his Phantom draft.
Number 9 is Arizona.
I like his progression. He's a complete offensive player. 50-50 guy between being goal scorer and disher, to your point. Which,
what do we got in the chat?
He projects to be inside of a top 6 forward for me.
Diz, who's your favorite team?
And of course,
Diz, Leafs when they don't piss me off. Haha, the Habs.
MVP is cap space. Yeah.
Second, the Habs second, which pisses other people off. Diz was listening to a tribe called Quest today. Actually, good stuff. It is.
Followed by the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Surrounded by Leaf fans. Who's your team? Brain.
Let's go back to Seattle as they selected Matty
Columbus
Beniers
Blue
second
Jackets, yeah.
overall.
Okay,
It is Beniers,
Ottawa's
first
next.
Seattle Kraken draft pick at number 2 overall. Seattle. Why Matty Beniers, Jackie?
Ron, congratulations on a very eventful week for you. You take Matty Beniers at number 2. Could he play right now if he wanted to for your roster?
Well, we'll have that discussion with him. It's certainly a big jump from any league to the National Hockey
Still
League,
see everything here.
We'll have a conversation with him, see what he feels like.
Columbus at 12.
And how hard he competes
Calgary,
each and every
Buffalo.
night, that he certainly would have a possibility of making our lineup in the fall.
What do you think his upside is? Like, how high is the ceiling for a Matty Beniers?
Well, he's such a great character.
Okay, Buffalo's second pick is coming in at number 14. Francis is just Ron Francis is just talking about Beniers. Blah 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 blah. I think you all know about Beniers. 2 people in the chat. 2 people on board. I think I put this up on social media, but yeah, I don't know. I usually have a bigger. I mean, I know I'm a small channel, but usually I have a bigger party wagon attached at this point in time. Maybe it's because the Toronto Maple Leafs don't have any first round picks and a lot of the people were Leaf fans. Possible. What can I say? Sens could be very good. I mean, they were half decent this season, especially the last half of the season. They were pretty good. That Atlantic division is going to be really tough. I'm not saying the Sens are going to make the playoffs next year, but they're not a pushover anymore.
The last few years, what are they thinking?
They're talking about Ottawa now.
I think the luxury here is they have drafted pretty well. They've stocked the cabinets and they have the luxury to.
I know.
And there's some options here. I think there's a
Poor Sens have McGuire to contend with, among other things now.
There's some.
What?
You guys don't like taking votes on the first one, do you? Yeah, I would
I'm one of those people. I don't get that. I don't hate the guy. He's just naturally annoying to listen to. It's very.
From the Canadian Tire Center, the home of the Ottawa Senators, General Manager Pierre Dorian will be making the 10th selection in the 2021.
Dorian, here we go. Number 10 for Ottawa.
Thank you. I would just like to say a hi to all our fans watching on TV. J'aimerais juste saluer tous les partisans de regarder à la télévision.
So the
Can't wait to see you again on October.
first 9 picks in the Hockey News have gone off the board now.
To select les sénateurs d'Ottawa sont fiers de choisir from the USA National Team Development Program, Tyler Boucher.
Tyler Boucher. Interesting. Is this the Boucher? Yes, this is the Boucher. Wow, he was ranked 36th by the Hockey News, 79th by the International Scouting Services. Best case scenario, they say he's a Tom Wilson. 6'1", 200 pounds, right winger who shoots right. Born in New Jersey. At the NTDP in 12 games, he had 6 goals, 11 points, 22 penalty minutes. Interesting. Ottawa's going to be a tough team to play against. And they already are. But in a couple, 2-3 years, wow. Boucher, interesting pick.
This is the type of guy that you want to recruit because these.
What do you guys have to say about that one?
When you have a forward that plays a power forward game, that has skill, that's been able to overcome adversity, that's absolutely jacked like this kid is, and take classes at BU, where you guys know very well since July 5th, and working out. He's an absolute beast. I got this video on him earlier. This guy is ready. He's shredded. That's an NHL body. He looks like a Gabe Landeskog or somebody that like. So my man.
You're saying he's in extreme shape on the panel here.
Goalie union once again, family-wise.
It's a little bit what we talked about here. They have the luxury of with all the picks they've had to go try something like this, a power forward. Maybe some feel like it's a reach, but this guy.
Yeah, power forward. Yeah. I'm surprised he went so high.
He's hard to play against, and that's the way the league's going. We're all looking for those kind of players.
Made it to the top 10. That's amazing.
It leaves us all wondering how we got to go.
Exactly.
How's your one-legged lug game these days?
Yeah, it's
in progress. Work in progress.
I got a bad
He's a wing beaver.
Wow. 36th ranked by the Hockey News, 79th internationally, goes number 10. I know the rankings change all the time in between publications, but that's amazing. Blue Jackets on the board next. Oh, no. Yes. Yes, they are. Very interesting seeing Boucher going that high. Wow.
But now they're on the clock again. And these are recent picks. What do you do now if you're Columbus? I hope he doesn't trick me like he did last year.
Yeah, Ottawa wants some more grit. More being the key word there. Of course, having Kachuk already. This is going to be like one SOB kind of team. Really tough to play. This.
Who is this dude? Although his dad was a former.
I think DJ Smith has got his opinion in on this pick as well. I'm pretty sure. It sounds like it. Here we go. Columbus Rain. Oh, thank you. Dyslexic. How thorough I am? What do you mean, like me going like over stats and stuff? But thank you for the compliment.
Tough season that we had. We really appreciate it.
Here we go.
With the 12th overall
Here we go.
Columbus Blue Jackets are proud to select from Sioux Falls Stampede, the USHL, Cole Sillinger.
How far off the board did they go? Cole Sillinger? Not too far off. Cole Sillinger. Rain, what do we think on this? Sillinger. Did I miss something here?
It's hard to play against. That can score goals. Has an amazing shot. And his dad played, I don't know, 2,000 games.
Yeah. So like the scouts. Oh, I missed that. He's 18, 6 foot, 197 pounds. Shoots what left. He's a center. Oh, there he is. Okay. Yeah, this is a good pick. Yeah, so they say best case scenario, the Hockey News, he's Jamie Benn. Hockey News ranked him at number 13. International Scouting Service said he was number 18. In the USHL, in 31 games this past season, he had 24 goals, 46 points, 39 penalty minutes. 200 pounds, 6 foot, if I haven't said that already. And he actually is. He's a local boy from Columbus, Ohio. I'm sure everyone's happy about that. Wow. Okay. That deserves some blue. Okay.
Sillinger played for a record 12 NHL teams, including here in Columbus, where Cole was born.
So they're saying how his father played there as well.
Which was his dad's last stop. Cole Sillinger and his brothers were always running around the Nassau Coliseum locker room, and Cole specifically always gravitated towards Rick DiPietro, so much so that Rick bought little Cole a set of goalie pads. Now, Rick called his buddy Mike Sillinger last week, and the first thing Mike said is, good thing you didn't convince him to be a goalie.
Did I say he's a centerman who shoots left?
And there's two things that his dad might
That's his picture there on the Hockey News right there. So yeah, we got Columbus number 12. Very close to where he was predicted to go. Very odd that Columbus doesn't go way off the board. Number 12. Yeah, the goalies are still on the board. Interesting. I thought Ottawa might grab one. Arizona, LA even. San Jose. Okay, what are we missing here in the chat group? Rain, I appreciate the lack of yelling. Sorry, I'm a projector. That's all I can say. You cover all the pertinent points consistently. Oh, thank you. Lots of fours this year for Columbus. Yes. Dyslexics. Shouldn't that be number 11? No. And that's because Arizona was originally ranked number 11, but they had to forfeit their pick, which is why there's nothing there right now. So that's how the NHL is doing it, from 10 to 12. Arizona had to fortify their pick because of the them contacting and testing out a prospect. You remember that whole piece of news, like I don't want to say roughly about a year ago. We got one person in the chat. We lost the pilot. I'll be right back. Be right back. And I'm back. Okay. This is pretty good stuff. I definitely, I don't know if you can get it where you live, but probably not unless you live in Canada. But it does sell across Canada. Waterloo. Pineapple Radler. Really, it's like juice. It does. I barely taste the beer in here. Rain is back. Okay. Oh no, and he's gone again. Wow, nuts this year. I'm really having a I'm really happy to have you guys. I'm just having like the numbers are not that good this year. Surprised there's not at least a few more people. Huh. Anyways, who cares? Who cares? Having fun. That's the point. Two again. We've got two. So am I up to date here? I got Sillinger at number 12. So Rain, what do you think about Sillinger? Have you read his profile? Rain, I'm only a couple hours from Waterloo. I forgot the draft was tonight until like 7 p.m. when I woke up, so maybe that's what's happening. Fair enough. Flames are on the dock.
Calgary Flames General Manager Brad Trey Living will be joined by Ted Button, the Director of Amateur
How are
Scouting.
we doing here?
Brad, the floor is yours.
15, 30. I got one for one more.
The Calgary Flames are proud to select with our first pick in the 2021 NHL draft from the Clark Cup champion Chicago Steel, Matthew Coronado.
Matthew Coronado from the Chicago Steel. Coronado. There he is. Matthew Coronado, ranked 38th overall by the Hockey News, 32nd by the International Scouting Services. They call him as best case scenario as Zach Hyman kind of type. The scouts say, I missed it. He's 5'10", 183 pounds, left winger, shoots right. He's from New York. Played in Chicago last season. In the USHL, were in 51 games. He had 48 goals. What? 48 goals, 85 points, 57 penalty minutes in 51 games. I said that already. 51. Wow.
I got 48, 16 above everybody else. Let some of the younger guys have a chance. Let me get rested up for the playoffs, and I worked out their Cup champs.
Well, like a winner, he added the 7 or 8 he had in the playoffs and got his 50.
Yeah, right. And that's who he is. A great character.
Unbelievable. Wow.
A great family. He the best player on the best team, to win the league. Those are the kind of guys, character guys.
40 points in his first 19 games. Big Islander fan. He loves me.
So he looks like right there. There's Coronado.
614.
Yes, Matthew Coronado grew up on Long Island, but he's not necessarily from a hockey family. He went to Catholic school, then prep school. He wanted to go to the USHL, but basically had to convince his parents that that was the right path. But once he got to the Chicago Steel, he tore it up, and he was nicknamed the Bison for the way that he charged to the net. And the thing about Matthew Coronado is that he was never the first guy chosen. He was never really.
He's a right shot left winger.
Those close to him say that he has never lost that feeling of being just one of the guys. And he went to 3 different high schools, but that didn't prevent him from going to Harvard.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, he should make a big impact.
That's a decent pick.
This year playing for Teddy Donato and Hart. So as you can see,
NHL had Coronado ranked 9th, really that high. Yeah, I know there are, like, as we all know, the draft rankings, because of how many of these players didn't play or didn't play much, and lack of scouting this year, the numbers are a bit of a complete, throwing darts blindfolded. And if this was the year to give up, if you're a contender to give up, a first rounder like Tampa Bay, Toronto, although it didn't turn out for the latter, this was the year to do it, right? Because you could find a gem in the second or third or fourth or fifth or sixth round. They had Coronado ranked 9th. Wow, that's quite the climb.
It's an awesome. It's a great pick for a team.
From 38th to 32nd to 9th to 13th.
Very excited.
So Quinn, take me into the conversation. So after the
They're talking to the Quinn brothers right now, all three of them.
Sure.
Quinn saying as soon as he finishes his contract with Vancouver, he'll, which is actually, he just finished, he's an RFA right now. He's going to make them trade him to New Jersey so he can join his other two brothers.
Really excited. I want to go there, but like Jack said, I think they made a great pick, first of all, for the team, first and foremost.
I'm joking, obviously.
And then, of course, the brother dynamic. I mean, I'm a little jealous, and I'm super excited for them. So it's really cool, really special.
So Luke, of course, you've worn the same number
Product
as
shot.
your brothers at the USA National Development Program, and now you're actually wearing one of.
Pours like a beer, does not. It tastes almost more like a cider.
It's a drink true. So excited.
Very good though.
Really happy.
We could actually, of course, we announced the NHL schedule. We could actually have the first game of the next season.
And people were arguing about this on TSN and some other channels today. Is it actually a good thing that his brother is already in New Jersey? Maybe he may that actually stunt his maturity somewhat, because he's got his brother sort of babying him, through the steps. I don't know. I think the positives outweigh the negatives, but makes you, from a psychologist's perspective.
Yeah, it's going to make life easier for sure. They won't have to fly to the third city, so it'd be nice. Me and Ty Smith got to get a third room eventually, though, for another roommate. So
Rangers, Blues.
It's a great pick.
And lastly, more than 11,000 draft picks in the history of the NHL. First time ever. Three brothers all having gone top 10. What are your thoughts on NHL history?
Super special. It's a lot of great league, one of the best leagues in the world, and a lot of great talents come through. And
Okay, just getting a little
really
prep
honestly,
here.
It's too hard to do. It's not like we're a bunch of specimens for 6'6", and me and Jack are 5'10" flat. And, so I think they really have to teach us the game.
Yeah, so both Quinn
Hard and a lot of credit to them.
and Jake are 5'10", and Luke Hughes is like 6'1", 6'2", 6'2".
Four of the top 5 picks, right? Luke, your team is coming soon.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that and the national championship. So.
What a great night. Congratulations, guys.
We got one. We have one. Okay. Sabres are up. It's all happening.
For the 14th selection, we return to Key
Here we go.
Buffalo, New York, where the Sabres will make their second pick of the first round. Jerry Fortin, Director of Amateur Scouting, will be making the pick. The Buffalo Sabres are pleased to select from Leksand in the Swedish Hockey League, Isaac Rosen.
Isaac Rosen.
Isaac Rosen, East Side Rosine. Take your pick. Tomato, tomato. Chicken parm, veal parm. Are you surprised on this pick set? Yeah.
He, Coronado, Boucher, guys that I expected to be high risers.
In 22 games, he's got one assist.
Yeah. But there was a
He's
lot of talk about Rosen moving up to the draft.
He's a right winger. 156 pounds, shoots left.
156 pounds. Yeah, he's obviously very light on his skates.
Rosen, I don't. This name doesn't even ring a bell. This really seems off the board here. Oh, no. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. I remember him now. Yeah. Left winger, shoots left. Hockey News has him ranked as number 37 international scouting, as number 27, 5'11", 161 pounds, from Sweden. Best case scenario from the Hockey News is Oliver Bjorkstrand. In 7 games in the under 18, he had 7 goals and 9 points.
Outstanding skater too.
In the Swedish league, in 22 games with Leksand, he had 1 point.
It's harder and harder to find scenes to be able to make plays, and he complements that skating ability with his shot as well.
Let's get him on board here.
He made the trade to
Buffalo,
go
okay.
and to do something. Obviously, had his eyes on something that their room must have talked about this. And they look like they're taking a swing for a home run. And he's got a lot of skills.
Well, some guys who can make plays. He's a playmaker. The right-handed shooting Swede goes to the Buffalo Sabres. Well, Kent Johnson went earlier, maybe a bit higher, maybe not. We knew he had tons of skill. The Columbus Blue Jackets.
That's him right there.
Overall, and the Michigan Wolverines with Jackie Redmond.
Let's just make it.
I think this draft is going to be
interviewing.
known as the Michigan draft. First time this many players from the same school have gone.
Okay, let's just get some information out here. Number 14 for Buffalo. Buffalo. Number 14. It's going to go by so much quicker tomorrow. What do we got here? Dyslexic. Also, from a psychologist perspective, they probably say to get Pierre Maguire away from 18-year-olds. Ooh, Isaac Rosen isn't even in the top 50 in NHL rankings. Really? Wow. Yeah, it's just all over the place today. I think you could probably say that about a lot of players who aren't in the top 9. But, yeah, from 37, 27 to not even in the top 50 to number 14 overall. We'll see if this is a bit of a gamble for them. We'll see. Huh. They're talking about him now.
Pick 15.
Number, we got 3 people. Welcome, whoever you are.
So, goalie? Could there be a goalie here?
I won't ask for it again.
Yeah, no, keep these goalies.
Yeah, no goalies yet. That's just so crazy. No one's. I mean,
and he's a Swede. And he's a Swede. Well,
it's somewhat strange, but.
Or do they go Sebastian Costa? I'm not sure, but I think it'll be either one of
Oh,
those
the
two.
Jets.
All right, so Dallas looks like they moved down. Detroit moves up to 15 to pick next in front of the Rangers. I don't think.
We have some movement.
St. Louis, Winnipeg. There's Steve Yzerman, Little Caesar Arena.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Their draft room is
We have some trade draft moving around here.
Sixth. It appears they have moved up to 15.
Dallas at 15.
Moves down, and again, many thought they would take the goalie here at some point, but maybe not.
St. Louis, Winnipeg.
You're Nedeljkovic, and you're trying to wonder, you get him a 2-year deal, you're wondering if he's going to be able to carry the mail for you. But I always say, if you're going to draft,
That was weird. Okay, I thought they said there was some movement there, but that's.
to get there. That 3 to 5 year developmental plan for the goaltender. And you look at all the prospects that they 33 picks the last couple of years, 21 picks the next couple. At some point, all these guys have to come together. And what do you need at the back end? To have Vasilevsky. Exactly. You need a Tendy back there so that all your players can make some mistakes, give up some 2-on-1s, and yet have the confidence that they're going to be able to go and score goals.
I probably should have.
Taken care of.
You mentioned Spencer Knight at the start.
Gonna make an
Spencer
adjustment
Knight,
here.
he's doing now, coming out of college
17,
hockey.
18.
See how he stepped in seamlessly on the WJC World Juniors, gold, college hockey, BC. I mean, you name it, what he's been able to do with going up to the Panthers. Why not reach for a goal? Words, have we convinced you yet? Talk to us. Talk to the world. Come on. Well, try it.
If Stevie Yzerman does it, I could be convinced.
Yes.
He's been pretty successful in the league.
Yes.
So look, but Chad Lucius plays in Ann Arbor.
Winnipeg, but did.
Stevie's
Okay.
season game. So
We got 4 people now.
Yeah,
All
he's
right.
heading to the Minnesota Golden Gophers right to play. Great shot.
So they're just talking amongst themselves, being that the NHL draft reporters, insiders. What do we have here? Dyslexic is saying
the future, right? You talk about fighting for pucks through screens.
it's definitely an interesting draft. Yeah.
And the athleticism to recover.
We've gone through some adversity.
We got 3. Okay, we got 3
people
people now.
have to travel and go over a few speed bumps on your path to getting there.
Let's find out what Steve Yzerman's doing with this second round pick.
I'm sure there's a few people doing live
Dallas
reaction
is
videos now too.
trading pick number 15 to Detroit for picks number 23, 48, and 138, all in this year's draft. So Dallas sends 15 to Detroit for 23, obviously a first-round pick, 48, second-round pick, and 138. So Detroit, you're now on the clock.
Detroit really wanted somebody
So there
here.
it is. So Detroit, the pick isn't quite ready.
So
to go.
Detroit gets this next pick, number 15. Dallas gets number 23.
I think they're making the move.
In the second round, number 48. And the fifth round, number 138. All in this year's draft. Interesting. So they get 2 extra picks. They get 3 picks for 1 for Dallas.
Yeah,
Huh.
I think so.
I think that's a smart thing for Dallas to do either way. But I'm very interested to see who Detroit's going to pick now.
You go to a familiar dance partner, Jim Nill and Steve Yzerman, who have known each other through
Let's
this
see what happens here.
organization. But
Interesting.
Thinking about Jim Nill, Joe McDonnell, and you're thinking about the last 2 drafts. They've only had 9 total picks, so now they got to reach out. They have a pretty good complement right now, but the additional 2 picks to move down a few spots is really helpful in that regard. Detroit 33 picks over the last few years. They can afford to give a few. Yeah, we can't have too many.
Detroit's got less than just over 4 minutes on the clock here.
Prospects for the Red Wings overall, Jeff.
Detroit is going to be a good team, yeah. 3-4 years. They're just going over their top prospects. Sider, Raymond from last year, Berggren, Johansson, and Veleno.
This is how they did it in Tampa, and this is the same blueprint.
Yzerman.
As you build your team, you start to look down the middle.
And getting Neldjevic, too.
Weeks he gets
What a crazy trade that was.
You've had great ones,
Yeah.
What all the difference in the world? You got all these playoff runs.
Are you jealous of Steve Yzerman's rope that he has?
I almost need like a beer to offshoot the sweetness of this. I can drink like half of one, but then it's just too much sweet at once. Yzerman is always particular on what he wants and usually gets it. Very true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Lucius, obviously a really good player, head to Minnesota, as Jeff mentioned. There's the goaltender, Nelson. There's the goaltender, Kosa. Anybody else jump out of those 3 that you think maybe should be?
Let's see.
All the success that they've had in Sweden, Fabian Lysell is a guy that you would have to have done a deep dive on. Early on in the scouting community, there was some talk about some character issues, and you have to make that determination. Is it a character issue? Does it border on criminality, or is it simply immaturity? And if you come to the determination that it's immaturity, you're looking at probably one of the top 2 or 3 in that Kent Johnson category as being the most dynamic player in this draft. Again, the relationships, Håkan Andersson, Sweden, they're not unforeign to the country there. So he's a guy there that may have some interest here if they don't go Weeks' way.
You know what else might be my way? Let's go back home to Pickering, Ontario. Brennan Hoffman. Just keep an eye.
Can you hear the broadcast in the background?
Harry Batman introduced Detroit.
Oh, here we go. Detroit's up.
15th selection in the 2021 draft. We return to Hockey Town and Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. And Steve Yzerman, Executive VP and GM of the Detroit Red Wings, will make the second pick in the first round for the Detroit Red Wings. Steve?
With the 15th pick, Detroit selects from the Western Hockey League's Edmonton Oil Kings, Sebastian Kosa.
Sebastian Kosick.
As his goalie, 17
A goalie.
41 save percentage in the short.
Sebastian Kosa. Right? Okay, there's your goalie.
6'6" and athletic, Sam. There's been a lot of things that this young man.
Sebastian Kosa. Yeah. 6'6", 212 pounds from Hamilton, Ontario. Catches left. Was playing for the Edmonton Oil Kings, as you've probably heard already. They're saying best case scenario for the Hockey News, Robin Leonard. He's ranked 24th by the Hockey News. International Scouting Services had him ranked as the 3rd goaltender going in the draft, and he's going first. What does NHL have him ranked there? Interesting. Huh. Kosa.
Cooling down, stretching, eye exercises for the goaltender. And as a result of that, he grew, and that mentorship really meant a lot to him.
Sebastian Kosa.
Doesn't mean anything for Edmonton.
they were winning the division, no problem. Brad Lauer says, I'm going to give the young guy a shot. José says, no, you're not. I want those games. And so he walks into Lauer's office and says, I'm going to take those games. Lauer says, slow down, bud. Your numbers are really good here. We'll give you the first game and see what happens. Well, lights it up there in that first game. And as a result, he ends up getting the second game. They win that one as well. And the numbers are Bugs Bunny like for Sebastian Costa this year.
So with Edmonton and WHL this past season, he went 17-1-1 with a 9.41 save percentage. And over the past 4 seasons before that, 9.21, 9.19, 9.19, 9.34.
He knows everything that Vasilevsky's been able to do for his former franchise. Not to mention, we call this about Costa as well. He trains with pro guys right now, and he's training with Carter Hart, and he's also
training with Carter Hart right now.
In the area there in Alberta, and I respect that about him. He's getting in and around those guys. Tristan Jarry, who's also an all-star, who is another alum as well of the Edmonton Oilers.
3.5 hours south of Detroit is Columbus, Ohio. That's where Emily Kaplan is with more. Emily.
Sebastian might be the draft's renaissance man.
Interesting.
His dad is Italian, didn't start skating till he's 40, now refs beer league games. Sebastian actually played football until he was 13. As a self-proclaimed big boy, played both center and linebacker. In fact, he was 6'4" by the time he was 14 years old.
Dean Puck 5, welcome. Surprised they didn't take Wallstad.
Really hard worker. Every summer he worked
Yeah, the goalie, yeah.
shop, carpentry, manual labors.
Yeah, so am I. They had him ranked number 11th overall. The number 1 goalie to be picked from Sweden. That is pretty interesting. What do they say about him? Broke Tristan Jarry's club record for longest win streak, 11 in 2013 in the WHL. 2021 WHL goaltender of the year. Recorded shutout in first WHL game on October 4th, 2019, age 16. Huh. Yeah, still, I mean, he's got some impressive stats here, but Jesper Wallstad was projected to be, according to the Hockey News again, like an Andre Vasilevsky type. Smaller, 6'3". We'll see if a bunch of goalies all of a sudden start going right now.
16 selections out of
Dyslexic couldn't find his NHL ranking. He was, however, ranked first among North American goalie prospects. Yeah, because who was the other goalie here? Besides Wallstad and Kosa.
The best part of stepping into the spotlight isn't the awards, but the acclaim. The best part of stepping into the spotlight is helping others step into theirs. Three-time member of Motor Trend's Truck of the Year. This month, get up to $4,750 in discounts on brand.
They're trying to find International Scouting's ranking of the second-ranked goaltender here. I'm trying to find him. And I can't. I'm into the 50s now, and I can't find the number 2 ranked goaltender from International Scouting Services, according to the Hockey News. Very curious. Oh, here we go. Wow, he's ranked 61 overall by the Hockey News, but the second-ranked goalie by International Scouting, and Benjamin Gaudreau. 6'2", 274 pounds, catches left. Best case scenario, they compare him to Jordan Binnington. He's from North Bay, Ontario. We'll see where he gets picked. Wow. What a huge difference here. Okay, so the Rangers are next, ladies and gentlemen, or person that I have in the chat group right now. And we have a commercial happening. This is just. I really like this. It's just. I really like it. It's just so sweet. You know, if you're gonna get this, like, share it with someone. But someone who doesn't like beer, there's a very good chance they like this, especially if they like cider. Definitely going back to the IPA after this. I'm looking at the Rangers scouting staff, and I get the feeling that somebody took their pick. Here we go.
Westchester, New York, by New York Rangers President and General Manager Chris Drury.
Chris Drury, new manager.
The New York Rangers are proud
He
to
looks
select
young. Wow.
from the Flint Firebirds, Brennan Othman.
Brennan Othman. Okay. Ranked number 18th by the Hockey News, number 31st overall by International Scouting Services. He is a left winger who shoots left, 6 foot, 174 pounds. In 55 games in the OHL in 2019-20, 17 goals, 16 assists. He's from Pickering, Ontario. Scouts say good playmaking. Interesting. They say best case scenario for him is Gabriel Landeskog, according to the Hockey News. Huh. In the under 18, in 7 games, he had 3 goals, 6.6 penalty minutes. Again, 6 foot.
What's really cool is that they're back together and they're trying to find a better nutrition program for him. They don't want to
That's
spend
him
thousands of dollars like some of these guys going to
right
train.
there.
So they find a local guy, and during the pandemic, he sets up a gym in his garage. And Brad says, I want to drive 45 minutes. I want to use that time to work out 10 minutes from the home. He goes, I don't want to hang out with the guys and be distracted and skate and laugh and do all that kind of stuff. I'm serious about this. I got to go after it. And he did. And he just trained by himself in that garage gym. Might have got a little lonely at times, but you know what? It worked out pretty well now. The New York Ranger he is.
No question. My sister and brother-in-law live in the area of Pickering there, and I can tell you, knowing his uncle, Rob Hoffman, used to play with us with the Toronto Red Wings, and the dad, Jerry, they both ended up playing pro over in Switzerland. A lot of people recognize him. When Hoffman went over there, he played exceptionally well in the second league in Switzerland. As a youngster going over there, I mean, of course, when you're able to see that, the clutch gene that he's
Okay.
going back to.
Who we got? We got 2 people. We got 2 people.
He's just continuing to shoot up the boards. But a lot of people now are
Again, Brennan Othman. Let's get him down here. Number 16 by the New York Rangers. So ranked 18th, 31st, and taken 16th. Dyslexic, you want to tell me where the NHL has him?
Shout out to Mom Page. She's the one getting the nutrition, the weight program going, and yeah, that's a secret to life. Lift weights, start early, and never stop.
Oops.
Don't forget your mom. Never stop at the weights. It's the only fountain of youth that's out there, people. St.
Okay.
Louis.
St. Louis is on deck now.
We're now at the point where in the middle of the first round. So what are GMs thinking? Is this when you pretty much lean on your scouts?
3 people. 3. Salut. Welcome.
Well,
Or 2. Oh, just lost it. 3-2. Oh, no, it's 4. No, we got 4. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Please consider subscribing. We got a board here. We got 16 players drafted so far. St. Louis is on deck. And, we're enjoying ourselves, really.
I'll tell you what, this is an interesting time for St. Louis because only a few years ago when they won the Stanley Cup, they still have a lot
Of course, the St. Louis Blues had an interesting trade with the Rangers today. They got Pavel Buchnevich, who's going to step into their top 6. Easily a 20-goal scorer. That's exciting for them. Didn't have to give up much. New York probably trying to keep some space for a possible Eichel trade. Might be coming down the pipeline soon. We'll see.
Offensive type of guy. Daniil Chayka had an up and down sort of year. So now we're moving into that territory where the second goalie Ballstat will come into play. But that second tier of defenseman, and that they'll start coming off the board here before too long. They lost in the first round each of the last 2 years.
Okay. So,
19. Commissioner Gary?
still a lot of players.
In the 2021 NHL draft will be made from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri.
Still a lot of good players. Good players. Good players.
And
Left on the board.
Manager Doug Armstrong.
Okay,
Doug?
Mr. Armstrong.
St. Louis selects from Maruski, Zachary Bolduc.
Zachary Bolduc. Okay, Zach Bolduc. He's a centerman with the left shot, 6'1", 174 pounds. Ranked 21st by the Hockey News, 16th by International Scouting Services. He's from Quebec. In 27 games in 2021 in QMJHL, he had 10 goals, 19 assists. Wow. Best case scenario that they have for him in the Hockey News is Yanni Gourde. Great at deflecting pucks near the front of the net. Used to play with Lafreniere. Let's get the blue in here. The blue for Blues.
Isaac Belleville, Alexi Lafreniere was unbelievable. It was over 30%. And then he came back the second year and he tried to be a little bit of Alexi. You can't be that guy. So he had to create his own identity. It took a little while, but the head coach Serge Beausoleil really helped.
They're talking about what I just brought up.
Last year, now you need to find a more complete game. And I give him credit for doing so.
Emily Kaplan with more from Columbus.
What I have heard about Zachary Bolduc is that he is a rink rat. His youth coach, Denis from Kerr, told me
That's funny. He was also born in Trois-Rivières. Really good beer comes out of there as well. Let's just get his info. I'll shut up for a second so you can hear some of the background description about him.
30 goals in 55 games in his first season alongside Alexi Lafreniere, and I don't think he has looked back since. Bucci.
You must have noticed him, obviously, scouting Alexi. Did you consider, hey, maybe I could take him, like you saw him as a player a year or two out?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the luxuries you have when you're watching the guy you have to really pay attention to.
Yeah.
It definitely jumps out. There's a top 6 board in there, I'm sure.
Cool.
They did. Yeah, nice and quick. Can you hear the commentary when I have it this low?
Talent. Got a great, big, gigantic goaltender in there as well. What's the plan in Winnipeg?
Yeah, thanks, Dean Puck 5. Thanks for joining me today. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And thanks for joining us.
When you
Hope
have
to see you
that kind of
soon.
synergy amongst
Tomorrow.
and your
Tomorrow.
ownership group, it gives you the confidence to do things the exact way you want to do. You don't have someone over this shoulder telling you what to do, over that shoulder what to do. You've been delegated the responsibility of acquiring the best players.
Winnipeg is up next.
I love that environment that Kevin Cheveldayoff is able to work in. The one guy that sort of comes to mind for me here is Carson.
How many rounds am I streaming for tomorrow?
Minor hockey in Winnipeg, junior hockey in Winnipeg.
As many as I can. Last year I did all of them. That was a very long day. It was like almost an 8-hour day. I'm not sure if I'll do it tomorrow. I'll try. I will. I'm planning to. We'll see how many.
Yeah, I don't.
I've got 3 boards, 3 big boards, and a bunch of tiny ones. So
They selected last year.
I'm gonna try and do the whole thing.
And of course, unfortunately, didn't get the chance to play this year. But all that being equal,
Winnipeg's top prospects: Perfetti, Hinola, Sandberg.
I mean, Chaz Lucius.
A little bit of review happening here.
We only got 4 picks, and here's the first one, Commissioner.
Only 4 picks for Winnipeg.
From Winnipeg, Manitoba, the general manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff, will be making the 18th selection in the 2021 NHL draft. Kevin?
Here we go.
Thanks, Gary. The Winnipeg Jets are proud to select from USA Hockey National Team Development Program, Chaz Lucius.
Chaz Lucius.
Winnipeg always seems to get.
Okay, ranked 10th by the Hockey News, 19th by International Scouting Services. Best case scenario for him is Steven Stamkos that they're mentioning here. He's a right shot center, 6 foot, 172 pounds.
Physicality, training, the nutrition, the mental.
Now 185. He's heavier.
It's been awesome. The Chas Lucius goal.
Let's see what they say about him here.
Had the bone lesion in the knee, and you think of what he's
Ooh,
been able to do. This is a young
in
man.
13 games, 13 goals, 7 assists. The scouts say he's he's an offensive driver that's very dangerous with time and space, great shot, and gets it off fast.
Which is something that pro athletes and Olympic athletes do.
I'll
For him to have the wherewithal to do that,
let you hear some of the commentary on this for a second.
blew me away as much as he skills.
The thing they say about him, not only is he a goal scorer, but he has a knack to score.
Okay, cool, Rain.
That's-
I'll see you in a bit.
that's huge. For him, he came back from injury right away, big points right away. There's another guy, big upsides, plays down the middle, and Winnipeg has that a lot of luck. He's been drafted really well, so he's gonna fit in.
They're looking in the mirror and they're seeing Kyle Connor all over again.
That's
Guy came from the
him.
program, really good goal scorer.
That's him
little
right
bit
there.
slight of
Chaz
frame,
Lucas. That's
yet still
Winnipeg's
at the National Hockey
pick.
League level has the ability to score goals. So Lucius missed a lot of time, but he didn't take a lot.
Yeah,
of time.
dyslexic, yeah. I think you're right.
Came back, 2 goals scored.
Russians, not many Russians too, as well. Have any Russians actually been taken yet? I don't think so.
The reading that he had to do to try and fill the time before he was able to come back. But how
I don't think there's one Russian that's gone yet.
Hello. You gotta love it, Chaz Lucius. He has the ability to score in a variety of ways. And when you talk about doing it in
I think that's the first in a while. I'd like to see the stat on that.
Definitely needed. You look at the depth of scoring for the Winnipeg Jets. It's not going to happen for Chaz immediately, but I think the Jets see another Kyle Connor in this player.
I'll disagree. I mean, he's a real dynamic player, and he can generate offense, and he has the skill and the will to make those plays, and also the guts.
Get a right shot center.
Chaz Delicious. Kyle had a freshman year to remember Michigan.
Chaz
It's
Delicious.
unbelievable.
That's
Maybe Chaz could do the same this fall.
okay.
Down there for the Gophers in Minneapolis. All right. Nashville is next. Can you get a good guy at 19? Hello, Ryan
Winnipeg.
Gibson, Stanley Cup champion.
Any Winnipeg fans in the
These
chat?
guys might be in Toronto one day. By Toronto, I mean the Hall. Their pick is next.
Okay, so Nashville's on the clock. So Lucius was ranked 10th by the Hockey News, 19th by the International Scouting Services, and goes 18th overall from Winnipeg. Let's get some more numbers up here. How's the board? Can everyone read the board? It's good. No Russians yet. Yeah, surprising for sure.
That's great.
They've been incarcerated for a while. The lower fees make a big difference. Being brave about it.
Well, I'm heading back to the ranch anytime soon.
Exactly. If we ever want to move, we gotta get moving.
It's time to switch to Equestrian, Canada's fastest growing online group. Learn more at
Just preparing the board here.
Who could have known that the right food could help your new friend live their best life, or give your old friend new energy, or that the smallest changes can make the biggest impact? You did, and so did we.
We're running out of space. Actually, it should be okay on this side.
Ever-changing nutritional needs for differences you can see, feel, and trust. So you're always a step ahead.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Carl and Alan have a lot in common. They're staying at the same hotel.
I'll just turn this down. This commercial. Okay. 2 people, 6 thumbs. It's all good. Board is legible. Sound is good. All is okay. Gracias, senor. Much appreciated. Oh. I have my dinner with a keeping warm at the moment. I'm gonna wait to eat till after this is done because there's just too much happening here to eat, and I mean, snack is one thing, but to actually, knife and fork it, it's not happening. Here we go. Bridgestone Arena, folks. Who else we get on? We got Oilers, Boston, Minnesota.
I would say teetering, but what direction are they going, Jeff Gordon?
Well, I think a little bit in between.
Yeah, you know what I meant. Yeah,
trying to have some high price guys there. They left off in the expansion and trying to figure out where they're going there. Always drafted pretty well and developed defensemen.
Yeah.
Right? So
trade one to Philly.
Yeah. So I would say they have a couple good young players they've drafted the last couple of years. I would look for him, but I always think defense when I'm thinking Nashville. 2 weeks ago.
I think one of the sore spots
is this
for them
Gordon?
is the lack of
Gordon
consistency
is not
offensive punch for them. That's
the
consistent.
greatest speaker for live TV.
David Quayle's pretty public about that.
He
but
just
I
kind of
discussed with
talks
him
like this all the
last while.
time, and he
He
doesn't
said the
really,
same thing. John Hines wants somebody
doesn't really
that can carry the
enunciate
ball
much, and
offensively that can make plays.
he just sounds really bored.
Somebody that you can count on a regular basis up front.
Well, the Detroit Red Wings are having a pretty good night so far. They take a guy, Simon Edmondson, who they probably hope will be close to Victor Hedman, and then take Sebastian Costa. They hope will be close to Vasilevsky, who's a first-round pick as well. So
Chalowski,
maybe they're going to start.
their 2016 first-rounder, defenseman, of course, is traded today, or traded yesterday.
Steve, you guys move up and trade picks to move up in the draft to get goaltender Sebastian Costa. What was it about this player that made him a crucial add for you?
You're talking about the goalie he picked. Interesting. Okay.
Well,
this is Stevie Y.
We think he's got a chance to be a really good goaltender in the National Hockey League. As you know, yesterday we acquired Alex Nedeljkovic, 25-year-old goaltender. We felt that adding an 18-year-old prospect with Alex in Detroit, we got a great young prospect that we can just be patient and let him develop and potentially have really solidified the goaltending position in Detroit.
Well, you have been a very busy man. One of my favorite quotes this year came from Jeff Blashill. He said, "You're either getting by or you're getting better." From Vrana to Nedeljkovic, Rasmussen signing, Letty, you add Alex Tangay to the coaching staff. You have been a very busy man. How much better are the Detroit Red Wings now than they were 5 months ago?
I don't really know the answer to that. We'll find out. We like to think we're progressing in the right direction. We're pleased with some of the moves that we've made, and tonight we're very happy with the 2 selections we made.
All right, well, congratulations on both picks and everything from the last
Even though it's boring answers coming from a GM,
thank you very much.
It's always interesting to hear him speak, because maybe he'll say something insightful about some of the people he's already picked.
And this year, as you can see, there they are at 19. Who will they take this time? The pick is in. Commissioner Gary.
Boston, Minnesota. Dallas is 23. Here we go. Nashville.
President of Hockey Operations and General Manager David Poile will make the 19th selection in the 2021 NHL Draft on behalf of the Nashville Predators. David?
Thank you, Gary.
David Poile.
Welcome to Nashville, and thank you for all the fans.
Out in the streets. Loving it.
The Nashville Predators are drafting from Toyota and NHL in Russia. The Predators are going to select Fedor Svechkov.
First Russian? Svechkov, yeah. Yeah, Fedor Svechkov. From Russia, in 38 games, he had 5 goals and 10 assists in the VHL. Scouts say he's skilled center who can dominate game, create scoring chances with surprising moves around the net. Now, he's a left shot center, 6 foot, 179 pounds. He was ranked 12th by the Hockey News overall, number 8th overall by International Scouting Services, and he's compared to best case scenario as Mike Zibanejad. So there you have it. There. All right. Let's get him on the board.
The under 18s, he's in his peer group.
That's what he
He can win faceoffs.
That's him right there. First
He's an excellent playmaker.
Russian
He
on the
skates
board.
extremely well. The interesting part about this guy is he was getting a lot of late love from the scouting community that I was talking to. But the fact of the matter is there are some teams that worry about taking a Russian player knowing that he might not come. He has the option to go home. That player may not necessarily want to come over and play in the American Hockey League. This guy's not like that at all. He was telling that some scouts were telling me that in their interview process, he had taken it upon himself to learn English. Oftentimes when players come over to the CHL or the USHL, they have to learn English by proxy. It's not often that Russian players at that age who are staying over there take it upon themselves to learn the language. And I thought, that's really smart about this guy. He knows what his future is. I love that little tidbit about this young man.
Yeah, no question. And you speak about being progressive and open-minded. You got
Interesting what they just said about him.
For doing that because they go back to Russia in back-to-back years. It was Askarov last year, and they go back there this year. And I spoke with Daniel Faulkner.
So they were saying how a lot of GMs are tentative about taking Russian players, and this is somewhat similar to what we've heard in the past. Maybe this year, especially with COVID and everything. And most Russian players don't even know how to speak English when they're being interviewed. This kid already took it upon himself to learn, and he's been very open about wanting to play in North America next season, be it in a junior league or in the AHL. Here's Elliot Friedman here.
I tell you, John, is that a lot of the action in Buffalo was about the other center, Sam Reinhart. A number of teams have made calls to the Sabres, and there has been a lot of conversations today about Reinhart. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I believe Florida's been around there, and I believe Columbus has been around there, along with some other teams who've had interest in him. On Eichel, what I can tell you is just in making calls around today, the ask is still very high, and there were some teams who just felt that they weren't willing to pay what Buffalo was asking. Eichel is skating. I believe there's still a disagreement between the Sabres and the player about where to go medically here. I don't think that's been sorted out. I think he's probably a little bit frustrated. Was hoping that maybe tonight would be the night for him, but it sounds like the action is hotter on Reinhart right now than it is Eichel. And, I think some teams, they've been in and out. They've kind of backed off a little bit, and they're just basically playing a waiting game with Buffalo to see if the ask does come down.
All right, Elliot. Jeff, when you think about the player,
seems like it could be between, for Eichel anyways, Minnesota and the Rangers seem to be the front runners.
We got free agency coming up. We got the draft tonight.
But you heard what Elliot Friedman just said.
Zone when he could be dealt, or is it just mutually exclusive? It doesn't matter.
Now they're talking about it.
No, I think it's been so out there that it just has to happen before they come back, most likely, right? The interesting thing on this one is we talked about Seth Jones. Seth Jones has a year left and can kind of dictate where he's going. Jack Eichel has many years left at $10 million, so they can send him wherever they want if they find the right deal. That's a better luxury than having a guy tough for sure.
Just they have to leverage, right, in a situation.
Totally, yeah. That's great hearing that from a GM, too. From that standpoint, somebody else that's garnering a lot of attention there is Sam Reinhart. Sam Reinhart's continued progressing these last couple of years, and I spoke to a couple of Western Conference.
Oh, Rain, welcome back. Good to have you.
And most recently that are very, very interested in him. And even in spite of the fact that him and Jack Eichel are outstanding.
First Russian, you missed him. Hit the board from Nashville.
Reinhart just got better and better and better, Gus.
You know what it looks like to me? It looks like Bill Guerin.
And they're talking about how Reinhart is most likely to go, be traded before Eichel will be.
Talking about Ristolainen, gone. Talking about moving Sam Reinhart. You're talking about moving Jack Eichel. I think Kevin Adams is looking and saying, we want to change things around here, and we want to do it pretty drastically. They're on their way to doing it.
We have a trade. Edmonton is up.
Oh.
If it involves them, Commissioner Gary Bettman, the details.
We have a trade here.
Actually, it does involve them. The Edmonton Oilers trade pick number 20 in the 2020
Pick and trade 20
draft to the Minnesota Wild in exchange
Really?
for picks number 22 this year, first round pick, and pick number 90 also in the 2021 draft. So the Oilers trade 20 to the Wild for 22 and 90, and that means Minnesota, you're on the clock.
Interesting.
So Edmonton.
You heard that?
2 slots.
Minnesota moves up 2 slots to 20. Edmonton gets their 22nd spot and a number 90 spot, which is in the 3rd round.
Free third. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure that's the goalie or not. Jesper Wallstedt is sitting there, but what do you think of this kind of trade?
That's what we were talking about, right? Here's there's a team, Minnesota, and an aggressive general manager that is sitting in his
Rain, you're a Wild fan.
Our guy's still there. Our guy's still
And
there.
they think Boston might take it. Is that why they moved up here? There's some intel there. Like, how's that work?
He might have some intel.
They're talking about how Boston might want to take what Minnesota wants.
We have a strong feeling about the player, number one. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, they
So
must.
They
Yeah,
want the player.
have somebody in mind.
Minnesota. And these guys, everything's going to walk back. And
Why did Chicago sign such a high contract for Jones? It's definitely risky, right? What was it, like $9-something million? 8 years takes him to around, I don't know, 34 years old.
Well,
They're taking a second whack at it right now.
It seemed to happen before.
I don't know. I don't know, like how much cap space room they have to maneuver in order to improve this team to an extent where they can still be competitive, even if Taves comes back, right? Those two players make like $20 million, right? So, and then with Jones, 3 players making over $39 million. They have to improve their defense. They have to improve their goaltending. I know they had a bit of a surprise in net with trying to remember the goaltender's name. What was his name? Lankinen, yeah. He did well for them. Can he do it again? I don't see anyone else on their goaltending list who's gonna step up. So, yeah, Chicago's got a bit of a question mark behind them, don't they? If you have any theories, I'd love to hear them, though.
So I like where they're situated now. He said he didn't want to be a vanilla team. Minnesota had been kind of the mild instead of the wild, and he wanted to add a little more edge to their group.
Minnesota was kind of the miles instead of the wild. Kevin Weeks can rhyme quite well.
You haven't won a playoff series since 2015. You've won 2 since 2003.
Exactly.
So, like, it's time to get going.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're right. Kaprizov gave them a flavor. They just didn't have it.
Totally. And I like the progression of Jordan Greenway, too. Let's not sleep on Jordan Greenway.
Yep. Big
Terrier, big power forward. And he played with more jams this year, too. I'm feeling the size points this year for me.
Yeah. What I'm learning is you found Kaprizov, which is excellent.
I wonder if their ratings overall this year for the draft are way down.
Weeks ago. So Billy Guerin moving up to Edmonton spot at 20. The Bruins are on deck, and then Edmonton takes at 22, and then Stevie Y's up again at 23. So as the clock continues to tick down, now 2 minutes left. And here are the prospects for the Wild. We mentioned Kaprizov came in. That's a bit of a dicey situation right now. There was
Prospects for the Wild: Boldly, Rossi, Addison, Beckman, Meno. 2 defensemen, 2 centermen, and a winger.
It's a weird thing.
The last one being Rossi, of course.
Yeah, I'm just going to focus on this board quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to Marco Rossi right now.
Okay.
Former Ottawa 67, one of my former OHL teams. What he's been able to overcome is nothing short of miraculous, and we're happy to see that.
Oh, wow.
This is a guy that is very dynamic offensively. Now that he's getting his legs on.
Here we go. Any guesses as to who Minnesota's going to pick next? Oh, to Bettman. Here we go.
Practice facility at Tree Rink in St. Paul, Minnesota. General Manager Bill Guerin will make the 20th selection in the 2021 NHL.
This is always going to be interesting, obviously, because he moved up.
Looks like you have some friends with you, so Bill, you're up.
This year, we lost a beloved friend and colleague and our assistant general manager, Tom Curvers. After a long playing career, Tom re-entered the hockey world as an executive, where he had a positive impact on every team he worked for and every individual he came in contact with. Tom will be dearly missed and fondly remembered. Tonight, we have Tom's 4 children, Madison, Rosie,
Really?
Weston, and Roman.
His 4
to
kids
make our picks. Roman, you're up.
are there live with them. The youngest is making the
With
pick.
the 20th pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft, the Minnesota Wild are proud to select Jesper Wallstedt from Luleå.
Jesper Wallstedt. Okay, there's your goaltender. Ranked 11th by the Hockey News. Number 1 goaltender overall by the International Scouting Services. 6'3", 214 pounds, catches left from Sweden. And best case scenario, they have him as a Vasilevsky type. The scouts say he's big and strong with very good instincts. He's cool and calm and never panics. He went 12 and 10 in 22 games with a .908 save percentage in the SHL. Interesting. There's his photo right there.
Chase the game. I can't tell you how hard that is. I've been a young goalie myself. You want to jump around. You want to make every save. You want it so badly. And this guy, he's almost at the opposite end where he knows he's going to make the save. He's a big body with an NHL frame, and he's very positionally sound. And just plays a very.
Is it twice now that there's been some movement in the picks when it comes to trading up? And I think both of them pick goaltenders. Detroit being the other one.
Cam Talbot, we already have somebody you know very well. So I still have Cam Talbot in this game, and Cam Talbot was awesome for the Wild this year. Great pick here by Billy Garrett in the Minnesota Wild.
Emily Kaplan has more from Columbus.
The Bellstedt family lives down the street from Nicholas Lidstrom, but his favorite Swedish player unequivocally is Henrik Lundqvist. Jesper and his brother, also a goalie, used to stay up late to watch New York Rangers games, but often they just watch highlights on YouTube the next day. They also used to go to Henrik Lundqvist's goalie camps, and I asked Jesper, do you remember any advice that Henrik used to tell you? And he said, to be honest,
Interesting.
no, I was pretty
So maybe they thought Boston was going to pick him. So that's now Detroit and Minnesota, who've moved up in the draft to pick a goaltender. So there wasn't any goaltenders until number 15. And now they're starting to come off the board. We're almost 2.5 hours in. Congratulations for sticking around. All right. Let me make a note of this. Minnesota. So he's ranked number 20. No, he's ranked number 11 and then goes 20. Huh. They're interviewing Arizona's pick now, Gunther, the right winger. Yay, a player interview. Oh, I don't care. Okay. All right, all caught up. I gotta do a finish off a video after this about all the trades today. I was just finishing a video on the Philly, Buffalo, St. Louis Ranger, and Vancouver, Arizona trades. And when I hit stop on the video, I opened up the news and Seth Jones had been traded. So I've got to edit that in to a video after this finishes. So the day is not done. And of course, tomorrow it's an early start because here right now it's 7:30 my time. And then the draft tomorrow will start at 8 o'clock in the morning for me. So anyway, back to the board here. Yeah, Boston is on the clock.
Time with as an interim GM, part of the Lucic Marchand draft, which did so well for the Bruins and led to a Stanley Cup eventually. Kessler trade as well. What's a GM think in this position for a team? Again, they're kind of in that Nashville spot again, where although actually maybe not quite, they see a window that maybe they can still get one more cup with their core. So what do you add here? You're looking for more something immediate, or you're still just thinking about organizational depth?
Yeah, I think it's organizational depth. I think at this spot in the draft, immediate would be a stretch.
Yeah.
You'd hope
10:30 p.m. there, yeah.
Strike lightning.
Yeah.
But,
like 3 hours back, yeah.
Team, just to add increase to the skill.
Talking about Boston's picks lately, Swayman, Beecher, Laurie, Akan, and Lackow.
All right, the pick is in. Gary Bettman.
Here we go. Boston's
The
pick.
21st selection in the 2021 NHL draft will be made by the Boston Bruins. Don Sweeney, general manager of the Bruins, joins us from the Warrior Ice Arena in Brighton, Massachusetts. Don?
Thanks, Gary. The Boston Bruins are proud to select from Luleå, Swedish Hockey League, Fabian Lysell.
Fabian Lysell.
Fabian Lysell is the pick. You see a bit of a delay here, so they haven't quite heard the name now. So we'll see the reaction. It's always fun. Let's see if they go crazy. Oh, well, they're a little bit behind, but it's going to be Lysell, the right winger. We see a Nikolai Ehlers comparison. That wouldn't be terrible.
Fabian Lysell. There we go. Okay.
Was a professional soccer player. There's the reaction.
There's some questions about this kid's character. I don't know if you've read about that. Now, he's a right winger, shoots right, 5'10", 172 pounds. Ranked 27th by the Hockey News, 12th by International Scouting. Best case scenario they have for him is Brock Besser. I'll let you listen to what they have to say about him. In the under 18 in 7 games, he had 3 goals, 9 points.
How about this? Looks like an apparel stack. Got a little help there from the D-man. Thank you very much. Nikolai Ehlers. I'm seeing a little bit of that. Yeah, you gotta love it, baby.
All right, so the scouts say creates own scoring chances and has quick release, fine offensive instincts. In 26 games in the SHL, 2 goals, 1 assist. From Sweden, if I haven't said that already. Yeah, 5'10", 172 pounds. Let's hear what they have to say about him.
And I think this guy is a star in the making. I really do.
Yeah, when you're looking, we just mentioned they're looking to add skill. This is high-end skill. This is you're in the early 20s here. You're trying to find something that really sticks out. He can score goals. He's a hard kid. He's a stocky, firm kid. So I'm sure they're pretty excited to get him in the early 20s with all his skill level.
Yeah, 9 points at U18. Little side dish of pasta. Little penne. Exactly. That's a la vodka. Chef's kiss. The reaction. Yeah, it's good. Means a lot. As these next year member.
So he goes 21st, so he actually moves up from North American scouting. Anyways, I don't know if anyone wants to chime in with the NHL scouts have him ranked in. I sell the Bruins, Boston. Boston, number 21. Okay, turn that down. So, yeah, I'll read you a little bit of what they say about Lysell here. Has it pretty much always been a top-end offensive talent as a teenager, putting his goal-scoring stamp on a number of Swedish national teams and local clubs. Has high skill and plays a direct game. One scout said there have been some off-ice issues circling around him, but he plays fast, he plays inside, and he has a really good shot. He's a sniper. There's a maturity factor. His off-ice issues do not sound nefarious, but they did concern evaluators. He's super skilled, great shot, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we'll see how this goes for him. The Edmonton Oilers are up next, ladies and gentlemen. Wonder what kind of issues. Yeah, they don't really get into it. I know one player, and I can't remember off the top of my head at the moment, what pulled himself from the draft because of a picture that he took of having intercourse with a girl, and then he released it, on social media. It didn't go well for him. I think it was a North American player who was playing in Sweden too. And was it for the London Knights? I think that's the player I'm thinking of. I just can't think of his name right now. Anyways, it's not this guy. But anyways, they say the personal issues aren't nefarious. They say something about him having some issues with the coach as well. It says there are the character concerns about humility and if he's there for the team or if he just wants to score goals for himself. His Lolia coach is demanding, and we're all wondering when they're going to clash, which is exactly what happened with Noel Gunnar. Gunnar, who slipped to the second round last year before Carolina grabbed him, left Luina for Byronus this season. Okay, Oilers, here we go.
Take the Swedish goaltender. We thought maybe Kenny Holland would take, but he does not. As the pick is in for the Edmonton Oilers.
Pick is in.
Take
Pick is in.
this selection as they move a couple of slots down to number 22. What are you thinking there, Sammy?
Oh boy, we still have that run of that second tier defenseman. We talked about
Any Edmonton fans here? Where do they think? Where do they think the Oilers are going to go?
Chibrikov is a really
Goaltending. They could really use some goaltending and scoring wingers.
I don't know.
Defensemen. I mean,
Well, Gary Bettman will answer our questions, Commissioner.
Rain says hopefully grow out of it. Yeah.
For the 22nd selection in the 2021
And
NHL
here we are.
draft, from Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta, Ken Holland, president of hockey operations and general manager of the Oilers, will make the pick. Ken?
Edmonton Oilers select from Shawinigan of the Quebec Junior League, Xavier Bourgault.
Xavier Bourgault.
There you go. Pay those port rush dues, Kenny.
Xavier Bourgault. Okay. Ranked number 23 overall by the Hockey News, 29 by International Scouting Services. Best case scenario, they have him as William Nylander. Scouts say he brings it game after game, can beat you in different ways, slippery, and has really good release. In 29 games, 20 goals, 20 assists in the QMJHL. He's from Quebec. 6 foot, 172 pounds. Shoots right. There you go. That's a picture right there. Let's get him on the board. I'll let you listen to this commentary here about him.
Let the older guy have it. And then you kind of realize that I'm a really good shooter. I got to shoot the puck more.
So scoring winger. Not too much of a surprise there.
I think when Connor McMichael was taken by Washington a couple of years ago, this guy has really good deception off the blade. And whether it's the release point or whether it's the blade angle, there's something about a shot that's really deceptive and really difficult for goaltenders to pick up. And that speaks to the high shooting percentage in both of those years.
You're absolutely right. When you have a crafty release like that, and I spoke to the great Patrick Waugh, who's the GM coach of the Quebec Rampart and the Quebec Junior League, on the way in here today, and I can echo what you're saying. When you have a shooter that's able to kind of change the release point, freeze, get the deception, give misinformation to the goalie only has a fraction of a second to be able to react and make a save. He has an uncanny ability of being able to do that and freezing goalies and beating them.
Yeah, pretty good job with for them to move down. They saw he was going to be there. They felt he was going to be there. They knew the list. They got an extra pick out of it, and then they get their guy.
Yeah, so Edmonton gets an extra pick out of this and still gets their man.
Draft 2021 continues on. Take a look at the big board again. Historic night again for Michigan. 4 of the first 5 picks of the draft, Michigan Wolverines. And then Jesper Wallstedt makes some news there. Does Billy Garrett? He moves up to 20 to take the Swedish goaltender. He's with Jackie Red.
Jesper, congratulations. I understand it's 4:30 in the morning.
Holy, they're interviewing Wallstedt at 4:30 in the morning in Sweden. I will never complain about working all night ever again. Rain is asking, are you going to do season previews for each team later this summer? Yes. Yes, I'm going to try and finish all of them. I'm going to try and do some off-season videos too. It'll either be sort of an off-season / pre-season video for each individual team. I'll try and get them all done. I think one of the past 3 years I've been able to do it. I've gotten close the other 2. It all depends on my work. But yeah, I will be starting a Patreon page at some point. I keep on procrastinating about that. But it's, if you don't know what Patreon is, it's sort of a crowdfunding for artists. And Friedman, Elliot Friedman's talking. It's Jesus.
Well, I think it's at least 3 that offered to move up to try to take that pick away from Edmonton. It's a good thing he got sent the full box of hats because there could have been a couple of different ones. Obviously, Minnesota, I think LA did too, and I believe there was at least 1 or 2 more. The thing is that Edmonton didn't want to move too far down. Legault was a guy they wanted. I like the nicknames you guys were just giving him, and there's a reason that Edmonton didn't want to go too far back because they wanted to make sure they still got him. But there was a lot of action behind him. And it was Minnesota simply because it was a short drop for Edmonton that was able to make it. LA in particular was too far back.
And they still get Xavier Bourgault 2 picks later. And so now it is Dallas. Remember, they flipped spots with Detroit. Detroit moved up to take their goaltender, Sebastian Cossa. So, real disappointing year last year for the Dallas Stars after reaching the Stanley Cup final. Didn't make the playoffs.
Okay.
Gary Bettman with the Stars.
Okay, Dallas. What's my day job? I work on film and TV sets as a stand-in, photo double, background work, that kind of thing.
In the 2021 NHL draft on behalf of the Dallas Stars. Jim?
Here we go. The Stars.
The Dallas Stars are proud to select from Windsor of the Ontario Hockey League, Wyatt Johnston.
Wyatt Johnston. Didn't play this past season.
This is an amazing story. No games, except for someone who watched them in the 16-year-old season. Trevor Letowski, now with the assistant coach with the Montreal Canadiens, loved him. His second half of his 16-year-old year, just under a point per game. And he started to open eyes with that great.
He's in 53 games, 12 goals, 18 assists, plus 14. They call him a skilled player with really good hockey IQ, reliable guy that they can play in different situations. He's from Toronto, Ontario. And what is he? He's a center. He's a right shot, 6'1", 176 pounds. They compare him to Mason Appleton in the Hockey News. Best case scenario. I mean, he's a good player, but I mean, third line player. I'll let you hear what they have to say about him.
They got up in games. Dave Barr said, "We'll give you a couple cookies in the power play. We're up. We're going to get you out there a lot more often."
That's him right there.
I love this pick here. I thought they might
ranked 43rd by the Hockey News, 71st by International Scouting.
Towards the end of the first round. This is an amazing story for a guy who really had a 7-game audition in this draft year.
I couldn't agree with you more. And listen, as a lot of the people in their war room there are wearing the Mental Miles t-shirts.
In the World Juniors under 18, 7 games, 2 goals, 4 points.
And rollerblading across the country. I got to tell you, when you think of mental and the importance of your mental health, your mental acuity, your focus, all those things coming into play, all those are underscored by your point. The guy didn't play all season. And you go to under 18, and you know that everything's almost riding on the line for this draft anyway. Everything's riding on it. He delivered aces for Team Canada.
Yeah, when you hear his name, you're hearing everybody say he's been on the move here. And, why wait? If you're Dallas, you like him. At this point in the draft, you're getting a guy you like, go get him.
Florida Panthers are on the clock. A great year for them, of course.
Interesting. Panthers on the clock.
Point percentage. That was the highest in franchise history. We'll get to them in a second. But first, a big night for the Columbus Blue Jackets. A couple of nice prospects they have selected thus far. Ken Johnson.
So, if I haven't mentioned it already, he was ranked 43rd overall by the Hockey News, 71st by International Scouting, and he goes 23rd to Dallas.
Johnson and then Cole Cylinder with your first 2 picks.
Now they're interviewing Kekalainen about his picks. Want to hear that?
Of different qualities. And we got 2 center ice that we believe that'll make us stronger in the future. We got Ken Johnson, who's highly skilled, great playmaker, and we're very good, a very talented offensive player. And then we got Cole Cylinder, who's a powerful forward. Good goal scorer, can play physical too, competes very hard, and got some size to him. So I think we got a little bit of everything here.
Yeah, there's players going all over here. After number 9, it's.
We haven't had a great power play for a couple of years.
They're talking about Boqvist that they just acquired from Chicago.
in the league. Chicago,
and him being effective on the power play for him. He was definitely good
shoot the puck, so they'll get a great opportunity here to do that.
at that spot.
And then, Yarmo, I just have to ask you, it has been such an eventful month for this franchise, including the tragic death of Matthias
Only
Lennox.
one Russian
Are you
taken so
holding
far.
up?
Well, we've been so busy that I think that we just kind of go about your business and work and reward Matisse, obviously, and had the service here. And that was a very sad time for our franchise and for our teammates, everybody that got to know. But
We're talking about the goaltender that was killed
Thank you, Yarmo.
during that accident, firework accident.
Thank you, Emily, out there in Columbus, Ohio. For
Okay, Florida Panthers are on deck at pick number 24.
See the pick coming, and you have a draft party, but it can't be the yacht club. Exactly. And yeah, that's so unique. That is right up the alley. Quality gets you for nothing.
I got good parents, man. I can't swim, but I can skate.
Panthers are picking from a yacht club. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
It's tough to get better, isn't it, Jeff? You gotta, again, they're coming.
Yeah, Rip Kivy, yeah.
Spencer Knight will really determine his maturation. The better he is, the better.
Yeah, it was what a horrible accident.
When you're in this mode as an organization,
So young.
the better
Just,
head
yeah,
coach, you're looking to win now. It's time to get going.
Yeah, and you
that's
know
what he said.
If you're good and you get better, the reward is you're in the back of the draft.
Yeah.
You're not in the top 10, and you got to be really good here, and hopefully they have a couple guys in line here. They really.
What could Panthers use? Well, I'm going to guess they're not picking a goaltender.
How about an Atu Ratu? Oh yeah. How about Atu Ratu? It's projected to go one this year. Things have changed.
Sentiment, maybe?
Things have changed.
I'm going to guess they're going after a Sentiment.
Presume in this first round. There he is. So, but Atu Ratu was the spelling, and now that's been corrected, of course, in the pronunciation.
So just to review,
Where this goes.
Dallas
I'm curious to see.
just picked
Yeah,
Johnston,
Men's athlete, man. But he's
a
an interesting
right shot centerman.
Don't quite add up with all the guys. So that's the thing you have to remember. You love the work rate, you love the
Where was he?
good hands, but something just doesn't add up here. You play as a double up World Juniors, and then you come back the next year and you'll make that team.
So
There's a lot of predictive-
that pick by Dallas, oops, I just ripped one of my pages, was the latest ranked prospect by the Hockey News that got picked so far at 43rd. Before that, it was 38th was the highest. Yeah, it's all over the place, right? I need a piece of tape.
Yeah, it was a weird and big fall for sure.
Panthers are one of your hated teams.
They can see what direction they
I guess
decide
everyone's gonna hate
to
someone.
go in. They'll see them down there. Shove it. Got a huge year. It's the big board. Massive year for them. Chad Lucius on his way to Minneapolis to play Bob Motzko and the Golden Gophers. He's with JP Moroz.
Need some Hockey News repair, page repair here.
Newest member of the Winnipeg Jets organization. And Chaz, your emotions as you hugged your parents, Chuck and Tammy, when you found out the news you're going to be a Jet.
Here we
It
go.
was obviously unbelievable. First and foremost, I mean, they've done so much for me, and I
Interviewing a player. Don't want to hear that. I think. Go. Okay, repair done. Even though my man went there. Rain, who are you talking about? Even though your man went there. Oh, Bobrovsky, right.
As we await the Florida Panthers pick, Columbus will make their third.
So we got Panthers, then Columbus, then Minnesota, then Carolina. Oh, Wenberg, right. That makes more sense. Here we go, Florida.
Shane Sherwood, director of amateur scouting for the Panthers, is with
He's a
us
UFA
from
this
the
season, isn't he,
Lauderdale
too?
Yacht
Wenberg.
Club in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Shane?
Here we go.
The Florida Panthers are proud to select from the Chicago Steel of the USHL, Mackie Samaskevich.
Maki
Another
Samaskevich.
Michigan Wolverine, Matthew Samaskevich.
Sounds Russian.
Tight-knit family from Newtown, Connecticut.
No, it's from Connecticut. Okay.
Sandy Hook.
Old Russian, maybe? All right. So he's a center. Shoots right.
And so
In 36 games in the USHL, had 13 goals, 24 assists.
to play for.
They compare him to Sebastian Aho here. They say he's really quick and elusive. He's strong on his skates and hard to handle down low. Sees the ice really well. His hometown is Newtown, Connecticut. 5'11", 190 pounds. And they I mentioned this already, but they compare him to Sebastian Aho. He played for the Chicago Steel. That's a pretty good comparison for him to live up to. We'll see if he can do that. That's him there. Maki Samaskevich. If I'm saying that properly. Let's see what they say about him. Just going to put him on the board.
When you got on the road, too, these are the types of players, as one general manager told me, this is the type of player that you want on the road. Road games, tough matchups, going into a hostile environment, playing on the road, Stanley Cup playoff game. These are the type of guys that you need in your group, and that goes a long way. That's a huge compliment for a young player.
Maddie and Melissa, his sister, and of course mom and dad, and those events of Sandy Hook Elementary School, they're right there, and that changed everybody in that little town of Newtown, and certainly that attended that school like they did, and that's a tight family.
Yeah, and largely because of that. I mean, the healing. There's people that you knew that had perished in that shooting, and you're thinking to yourself, as a family, how much more you appreciate your family members that sometimes you take advantage of, or take for granted rather, in a situation where now you're all forced to come together and you have to be there, because how sad would it be to have witnessed that?
Interesting. So he went to.
Oh, absolutely. Very humble
Sandy
kid,
Hook.
too. Like, yes. He's not walking around telling everybody how he is. He's working hard.
Seems like an extremely humble guy anyways. In the USHL, in 36 games, 13 goals, 37 points.
A little earlier maybe than some thought, but we're right in the ballpark. But certainly the Florida Panthers noticed some of those character traits.
And again, 26th by the Hockey News.
With the pick.
23rd by International Scouting, and he goes 24th. Not far off the board here. Hey, I was right. I said they pick a centerman, right? Shazam. Okay, I will be right back. Commercial break. Still a commercial. Okay. We got 3 people. All right. You know what? I have time to do one more thing, maybe. Okay, here we go. All right. That's a marathon. Still a commercial. We're still good. Hazy IPA, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, orange. Do this, that. There we go. This is Indiana, called Indiana. Indiana? And it's from Powell Street, Vancouver, BC, basically. Moving on. Here we go. Here we go. Sante. Cheers. What's my bet on the third Columbus pick? What's your bet? You first. I don't know. They have some early picks here. I think they could really use centerman and defenseman. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to pick Corson Kuhlmans or Zach Leroux or Carson Lambos. One of those three guys. Two of them are defensemen and one's a centerman. Here we go.
Manager of the Columbus Blue Jackets will make the pick.
So far, they've got
To announce our next
a
selection.
centerman. So maybe two centermen. So it's probably going to be a defenseman.
I'd like to introduce day one.
So I'll say Kuhlman or Lambos
Matthew Bird.
or even Berens.
With the 25th pick in the 2021 NHL draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets select defenseman Corson Kuhlmans.
Ha! That was my first guess. Corson Kuhlmans. Right-handed shooter defenseman. 6'2". Ranked 15th by the Hockey News, 25th International Scouting Services, 198 pounds. He's 18. They compare him to Justin Schultz. He says he's good size and puck game, can make plays, and will be an impact player. In 8 games in the AJHL, 4 goals. And I missed the rest of the stat. They flipped it. For the under 18s in 6 games, he had 1 goal, 8 points, 9 penalty minutes. Impressive. Good pick. Sounds like a good pick. He slipped down. I'll listen to what they say about him.
Is there, and we're seeing the AJHL.
That's him right there.
Talked a little bit about him a couple of years ago. I don't know if he's quite on that level, but he's going the same route as Cale Makar. So I really like this player, and you address the 2 forwards early on, and now you get a really good defenseman.
I think it's a real good value pick here.
So they're comparing him to Cale Makar. Hockey News says Justin Schultz.
Got a chance to see him.
I mean,
briefly.
offensive defenseman either way you look at it. But
That can really control the tempo of a game. He doesn't force plays. He generates his offense within the rhythm of the play. And there's a sign of maturity. He just has to get a little stronger physically, but I love the mature way that he's able to make plays within the flow.
Oh, they had me at right-handed defenseman for the Brooks. Right? They had me hooked. He's going to Wisconsin, which has a real history of developing defensemen. There's got a lot of them in the National Hockey League, so it looks like a pretty good fit after those 2 forwards.
Including one of yours, DeAndre Miller, who you selected with the Rangers.
Yeah.
so they picked 2 centermen, and now they have a defenseman, a right shot defenseman. So makes sense for what their team needs right now. Really, actually, I mean they need everything, but they've always been really short on centermen, especially. Oh, here we go. Minnesota's up next.
2021 NHL draft. Bill Guerin is back, general manager of the Minnesota Wild from Trier Rink in St. Paul, Minnesota, to make the selection. Bill?
We'd like to give a big shout out to all our fans across the great state of Minnesota. And now for our next selection.
Okay, Minnesota get it.
It'll be Weston Curvis.
26. And another one of Curvis' sons.
Pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft, the Minnesota Wild are proud to select Carson Lambos from the Winnipeg Ice.
Carson Lambos, I just mentioned him. Another defenseman, left shot though this time. 6'1", 197 pounds. They compare him in the Hockey News to Dan Hanhus.
The interesting backstory about this young man is when you go back to his 16-year-old year.
They're talking about him now.
He got all the top matchups against. He was still able to produce. He logged heavy minutes. And as a 16-year-old defenseman in that league with all the travel in the Western Hockey, that is a really difficult challenge.
So they say he's a smart player that's reliable and eats minutes all around. An all-around defender, matches up against other teams' top lines.
It's really difficult. So at that point, he was projected as a
57 games. He had 8 goals, 24 assists in the WHL in 2019-20, though.
He plays in a couple of levels over there.
In Finland in 2021, in the juniors, in 13 games, 2 goals, 11 points, 8 penalty minutes.
Then you're playing against men. Different food, different language, all of these things that
That's
you
it.
had to overcome.
Right there.
So now I wonder what's going on with this guy. He doesn't look like the same player. He comes back, he gets into a couple of games with Winnipeg, and then they realize that there's a medical issue. He undergoes the ablation procedure. It's all fixed up now, but no doubt it had to be very, very painstaking sitting there watching because the whole family and the player knows I'm a much better player than where I'm being picked here at 26. What's going on here with the year he had? I think you have to go back and have some really good intel on a 16-year-old year to justify this pick and say, oh, I think we have a steal here.
Yeah, he moves like an NHL when you look at him. You know, they get the goalie first. They go get a defenseman that maybe not a lot of people have been able to see too much with some upside. It's pretty good first round pick for Billy G.
Reminds me a lot of Jake Sanderson. Very similar.
Nice.
Very similar.
Oh, they're saying it reminds him of Jake Sanderson, too. Last year's draft.
In terms of their style of play, their ability to skate, get on down, and have a little bit of smile, some jam, some physicality on that back end.
All right, 6 more picks to go here in the first round.
I apologize if I'm yelling into the mic, but what can I say? I'm usually a loud person.
Stars pluck him at 23 with Jackie Redmond.
Just making a note here. Okay, so
Congratulations on being selected.
interviewing the Dallas pick. Blah, blah, blah. Carolina's on the clock right now. And who do we got? After Carolina, we've got Avalanche, Jersey, Vegas. Avalanche have their first round pick as well as Vegas. That's surprising. You know what is somewhat surprising is that the Kraken have only managed to get 1 pick in the first round. You think, compared to Vegas in their first year, I want to say they had more than that. Let's say they had at least 2. Here we go. What are they saying?
Carolina's got a lot of good mojo, right?
Talking about Carolina's next pick here now.
Calls, they're great on special teams. They've been one of the best teams in the league the last 3 years, But what they got to do to get over the hump to really become a player in the Eastern Conference as maybe the Penguins age, the Capitals age, the Bruins maybe getting that point. So this is their chance.
We're on 3 hours now.
What do you think about the Hurricanes as a whole as an organization? And how do you make
8 p.m.
Yeah, they've done
I didn't think it would go this late. I thought it would be like an hour and a half.
Because you look down there, Araujo, Svechnikov,
Wow,
really
okay.
high-end players. What do they have to do? I mean,
Okay, Rain, thanks for joining me. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Thanks a bunch. Have a good night.
Someday, at some point, yeah, that's just the way it is. But they've done a really good job building their team, and ultimately, you look at even their young guys. They took Jarvis, I think, last year. So, a good player. I think Jack Drury's going to be good. So, a lot of forwards, maybe.
Carolina's next. I didn't imagine it the first round lasting this long. That's 3 hours now for 1 round. Tomorrow's going to be much faster. Talking about what Carolina's looking for now. And we get one person on board. Who is it? Dyslexic? Is that you?
Direction that Carolina has gone here. And you look at Tom Dundon, the owner, and he applies analytics in his business. He's obviously a very successful businessman. They moved on from their head scout, Mike Dawson, Robert Cron. They've moved on. They're now working with Seattle. And so I think the analytics department will have a heavy say in what happens here.
especially with this draft pick. You get in the lower end of the first round, and you're thinking about some of that uncertainty. You're hoping that the analytics
Who's still there?
will be able to help make that decision for you. And I think
Is
they'll be
Lexic?
right here.
Well, maybe there's no one they love because we
Is that you?
apparently have a trade working on this selection. So perhaps somebody moves up.
Oh, sounds like there might be a trade happening here.
2021 NHL draft, the night that dreams come true.
Going to commercial, but it sounds like there might be a trade happening for this pick. We'll see how that goes. 3 hours now. 3 hours. Holy cow. I told my wife this would be over at 6:30. It's 8 o'clock. Oh my God. It just goes to show you just don't know what's going to happen here. On Sportsnet, where I'm watching this, it said, oh, yeah, an hour and a half, right? This is not happening at all. Oh, we have a commercial for Suicide Squad 2 happening. I might actually watch this. James Gunn has directed this film. This has definitely some Guardians of the Galaxy humor attached to this. We've got 2 people back on board here. That's great. We're on a commercial so far. We're waiting for Carolina to pick the next pick. There's some talk that it might be traded, and they might be moving down. Presently, we've got some commercials happening, and yeah, that's where we're at. 27th pick overall, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more spots to be filled. Next time the draft happens, and I talked to my wife about how long this is going to last, I'll just add an extra 3 hours. I think that's, that'll be the safe bet here. Holy cow. I think it's just, if it wasn't for all the commercials, this would have gone by so much faster. And I think so far in 26 picks, just to reiterate, we've got 1 Russian player. And that's Nashville picking Svechnikov, the center, at number 19. We've got a few teams picking multiple times, like Columbus, who've picked 2 centers at number 5 and number 12, and just picked a defenseman at number 25. Who else has got multiple picks here? Minnesota. Oh. We're back. Minnesota's picked twice now, number 20 and 26, a goalie and a defenseman.
2 NHL players, 2 good ones as well. JP Rose.
Buffalo's picked twice, number 1 and number 14, a left winger, and of course Owen Power. Oh, we're talking to Brian Boucher now about his son being picked by the Ottawa Senators at number 10. I bet he's surprised.
Really proud of him. He had a really tough year injury-wise, a couple of different knee injuries, illness, and he battled through it. And
as you know, Brian Boucher is a sportscaster.
I think
now for ESPN, but previously with
face adversity. You just don't know when it's going to come. And for him, it came this year in an important year. He stayed with it, and he's rewarded for it tonight. So super proud of him.
Saying he had a couple of knee injuries.
That's on the ascent.
He's
and hopefully he'll be a big part of that.
You think about
pushed as the next Tom Wilson.
To moving to Michigan here, to being away from home. As a dad, what is it like to watch on that?
From Michigan to Ottawa, it's not that far.
So many memories for myself, right? I mean, I played junior hockey in the Western Hockey League. An American kid went out west and did that to chase my dream, and was fortunate to play in the NHL a little bit. And you hope your kid likes hockey enough that he wants to do that, and he put all the work in.
and he deserves all the credit. And then to see him have a moment like this,
It seems like they're stalling now too,
I mean,
because
it's one thing when
it seems
happens
like a
to you
trade that
personally,
might be
but when it
happening.
happens to your child. I mean, it's something that brings out a lot of pride, and I'm super proud of him. I know my wife Melissa is as well, and his sister Brianna.
Holy cow!
It takes a village, truthfully, and the guys here at the U.S. program. Everybody's too many to name. I mean, Brian Gallivan, the strength coach. I mean, he spent so much time with him in the weight room because he was injured. The work that he put in with him. I mean, the coaches.
What do we got left here?
John Robleski, Dan Heindl.
Who's in the chat room?
Dan Muse.
Who's that?
Mike Leone. I mean, these guys put in a lot of work with Tyler, and I'm forever grateful to them. And I'm also grateful to Jenna and Chris Osgood, who we lived with the Billets here in Detroit. I mean, he had a great Billet family.
Brian Boucher
house.
talking about his son, and so on, and so on. So we got Carolina, then we got the Avalanche, then New Jersey, and then Vegas, who are picking. Now they're just finishing up with Boucher. Back to the board. Here we go.
All right, so we have a trade. Carolina was set.
We do have a trade.
Next at 27, Commissioner Gary Bettman with the details.
Here we go.
The Carolina Hurricanes trades pick number 27 in this year's draft to the Nashville Predators in exchange for picks 40 and 51, both in the 2021 NHL draft. So to reiterate, Carolina trades 27 to Nashville in exchange for 40 and $51.
In exchange for 40 and 51, if you didn't hear that.
All right, so a couple second rounders are heading to Carolina.
Okay.
Must not have
Nashville gets a 27th pick. Carolina gets 2 second-round picks, number 40 and 51 in exchange.
Jeff, when that happens, you see a guy and you see
Not a bad move by Carolina. I mean, because you can get a gem anywhere in this one, right? But Nashville, again, it's interesting to see who they have in mind, why they moved up.
And he's still there. They really like him. They want you really make those selections before the draft when they say we had them high on our board. That was legitimate. You had them that high.
But most of the time, I think it's sometimes a tagline.
Seems like they think they know who it's going to be already.
That's true.
So yeah, I mean.
Wow. I wonder if tomorrow's going to be like an 8-hour day. I have this feeling. Oh my God. Tomorrow's supposed to be like 8.
It's kind of crazy to me because I look at they've got 20 picks the last 2 drafts, and then I look at
8 a.m. for me till about
2/3, a fourth,
11 a.m. Eastern.
After a while, like what's happening here? So I think the analytics no doubt plays.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be a 6 hour. It's going to be like an 8-hour day tomorrow. Oh my God.
So you're looking at this.
I don't know if I could do that.
The analytics
again.
really come into play there. Everyone has that pick value board.
So if Nashville moved up, they have someone in mind. So let's get to it.
We're going back to Nashville, and outside the Bridgestone Arena, David Poyle, president.
I called him David Soil instead of David Boyle. I'm the one who's been drinking beer. That's Gary Bettman been with the vodka in the back room.
Major Junior League, the Nashville Predators are proud to select Zachary LaRue.
Zachary LaRue. Okay, so this was the earliest player left on the board still. Oh, no. From the Hockey News perspective, number 16, age 18, 5'11". He's a left winger. Shoots left, 196 pounds. Well, the Hockey News has him listed as a center. They say he's stocky kid that's hard on pucks, good and tight, and finishes well. Physical player. And 33 games in the QMJHL, he had 19 goals, 20 assists. He's from Montreal.
He's hot. This guy wears his heart on his sleeve. He flips him the bird.
Yeah, this is a very hard on the sleeve kind of player. They compare him in the Hockey News to Braden Shen. I'll shut up for a second.
For Quebec, an underdog against Ontario in the gold medal game. This guy scores the overtime game winner and was a pretty big upset on an awesome, really deep Quebec team. He goes to Moncton, has a really good first year there. He gets traded to Halifax. People are starting to question his character. He is a player that needs a little bit more discipline, a little bit more accountability, and a little bit more structure.
But you're talking about that bulldog guy who's going to play deep in the playoffs. He's going to play.
It's
hard,
funny
gonna
they
play
say
heavy, and
he's
still
listed as a
gonna
left
lose himself.
winger according to the
Is that
broadcast,
guy.
but as a center according to
About his character, a lot of people were doing it.
the Hockey News, which means he's probably a winger.
Those 4 suspensions, but you're able to say
4 suspensions.
It's more immaturity. I see pictures with his Bill, and he's hanging out with the family, playing guitar with the brothers, John Sim, the ex-NHLer. They're all drinking beers. Zachary LaRue, he's playing guitar, he's not drinking beers, but he's getting involved and he's into that family dynamic in the Billet household. Sometimes you sit there like a wallflower, sometimes you get engaged. LaRue's one of those guys that sit down between Andrew and his wife while they're watching TV. Hey, let's hang out here. You know, he's that type of kid.
Extrovert. I like that. I like the fact that he's that bold. I spoke to John Torchetti about him, who knows him obviously from his time.
They went out of their way to say he wasn't drinking beers during the family hangout. Interesting.
As an homage to his mom, actually.
That's kind of funny.
I think, and I really see this too, boards. Every piece of tape that I watched on this guy screamed Brad Marchand. Now, sorry for a lot of.
Okay, so Hockey News says Braden Chen. Kevin Weeks is saying Brad Marchand. Or Brad Marchand Light. Diet Sprite.
Disturber.
A shift disturber. I'm sure you heard that.
So if I'm the general manager, hearing all these stories, I'd just be waiting training camp to see.
So they took the only Russian so far, centerman, and now, according to them anyways, left winger in LaRue.
Really cool story. Yes, and I think that's really cool for the NHL and how they handled it. In Nashville, I thought did a great job too. No question. Yeah, universally accepted by everyone in every corner of the hockey world. It was a beautiful moment. Yes, awesome for obviously for Luke, most importantly. But then
Okay.
and the whole league as a whole. But who did he flip off? The Easter Bunny? I lost.
No, it's all the fans. They were giving it to him because he missed the show. Interview. He flipped off everybody. It didn't matter. As soon as that finger went up.
Okay, so he flipped off some fans too. I think I'm liking this guy a little bit.
Swag him up. Don't be tight.
Yeah, just bursting. The Avalanche. All right. Here's a team who's
Avalanche are up next.
Where are they at? Applebee's? Oh, there you go. Well,
It kind of looks like they're at Applebee's.
Downstairs at Eric's. We're at this. So they're out there in Breckenridge. That's up there close to
Breckenridge Brewery. Shout out to them in Colorado.
The 28th selection
Here we go.
in the 2021
Colorado.
NHL draft will be made by Executive Vice President and General Manager Joe Sakic on behalf of the Avalanche from the Breckenridge Brewery in Littleton, Colorado. Joe, you're up.
Thank you, Gary. First of all, I just want to welcome all these great fans here to our draft party.
So there is a lot of people in this brewery.
On behalf of our entire organization, we'd like to welcome from HV71 Sweden, Oscar Olausson.
Oscar Olausson.
It's going to be loud. I guess they're in Littleton.
Okay, here we go.
That's just the name of the brewery.
Now he's a right winger. They say he's strong skater with good speed, balance, active, and alert around the net with quick release. 16 games in the SHL, 3 goals, 1 assist. He's ranked 19th by the Hockey News, 51st by International Scouting. Interesting for a Swedish player, and they relate him to being like a Kyle Connor in the best case scenario. 6'2", 281 pounds. In HV71 in juniors in 16 games, 14 goals, 27 points, 10 penalty minutes. And that's in 2021. I'll let you listen in on him.
We don't quite have enough time for you at the SHL, so the numbers move down a little bit when you would expect more from a first-year draft eligible. That wasn't necessarily the case. And so during this time of the pandemic, kind of a quiet, shy, introverted guy when we talk to him throughout the course of our interviews. But again, that skating and goal-scoring ability marrying together, you think you have yourself a player that's going to contribute down the road.
It looks like elite talent. Joe Sakic makes sense to me. A late pick here in the first round to get elite talent. They've had a lot of luck with that, so we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, could complement that really well. We know that obviously they've got an outstanding top 6, and that top line is as good as anybody's in the league. One of the best on the planet, for sure. But the one thing that keeps coming back to me on hearing reports on him out of Sweden is the versatility that he has, and also the fact that he's a mature kid, and he's a team first player. And that goes a long way because when you come to a franchise like Colorado that has these electrifying players.
So last year they picked 24th overall, got Justin Barron, a defenseman. Year before that was Byram, Newhook, Couch, Makar.
When you go to a team, and of course, Bowen Byram, who they drafted out of the dump, those guys can all light it up.
Interesting. Okay.
Players. This is a player that's more of a glue skill player that perhaps
Winger for Colorado.
Team who's ready to win now. Any of these picks.
Again, 19th by the Hockey News, 51st by International Scouting.
Colorado, it's time to go.
Goes 28.
Select New Jersey's now on the clock.
New Jersey's on the clock.
Left here in the first round of the 2021.
We got one person.
This year for the second straight year. Next year, hopefully in
3 hours, 20 minutes. We're doing this.
In the stands and have our conventional draft once again. And the Devils picking earlier tonight. Of course, there was a family affair. That awesome view right there of Jack Hughes hugging his now teammate and brother, Luke. Not quite a teammate yet. Luke will go to Michigan for at least a year. And as he continues to add size and strength, there's Quinn, the Canuck, as well. As the Hughes are the first family with 3 top 10 brothers selected in the first round.
Okay. We're happening here. 3 hours, 20 minutes. Maybe a lot of people are just going to be watching this afterwards. We will see. 8:20. 8:20 Pacific. It's 11 after 11 p.m. I wonder what the ratings for the NHL are right now. So Jersey has already picked. I was only picked once. Yeah, as you're mentioning, Luke Hughes, number 4 spot, left shot defenseman. Let's see what they do now. I'm gonna guess they go for centerman Atu Radi. That's my guess. Or maybe defenseman Sean Behrens. One of those two guys. That's my guess.
But I see a lot of that in Kevin Ball. He's an element in their prospect pool that's not talked about enough for me.
Yeah, New Jersey, just keep adding to your pool, right? Give yourself as many chances as you can get.
I've got this pick again from the Islanders as we have 4 picks to go, and here's some of the names there. Anyone stand out? Sam is like, that'd be a good guy to take right now.
Well, Tuamola is a pure goal scorer. That's something that's hard to acquire. And now he's kind of an all-around guy. He's got some quick strike ability, and Atu. Yeah, we'll sit there.
All right, Commissioner Gary Bettman.
Here we go. Bettman,
For
next
the
pick.
29th selection in the 2021 NHL draft, we return to the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, where the New Jersey Devils will have their second pick of the first round. Executive VP and General Manager Tom Fitzgerald, please make the pick. The New Jersey Devils are proud to select from the Sudbury Wolves, Chase Stillman.
Chase Stillman.
All right, Corey Stillman.
Okay, good all-around player that likes to go to the net and battle for the position to score goals. 6'1", 180 pounds, shoots right, is a center from the Peterborough, Ontario. In 58 games in the OHL, that's 2019-20, he had 13 goals, 21 assists. Chase Stillman. Just gotta find him here.
And again, here's a guy who showed up at the under-18s, and we're going to talk about this a lot as we have already, because that was such a great time for scouts to be players best on best in the same age group in a small portion of games. And so Stillman went there, and he started banging the body around a little bit. And then
Oh, wow. Okay.
he got out of his lane. Hey, I need to be a goal scorer. Hey, I need to be the
So, yeah, 6'1" right winger from Denmark.
Good things will become of it.
He's ranked number 65 by the Hockey News.
How they have success offensively is that
Crash and Banger had a great World Under-18s with Canada putting up points and ruling the forecheck. Son of ex-NHLer Corey Stillman. I remember Corey. That's him right there. Very far off the board.
I played against his dad, Corey, who had an awesome career. Since our days in the OHL, he was an offensive guy, a point-producing guy, an offensive generator. And I think the same thing with the other son that's a defenseman, right? In the case of Riley, his skating ability, his ability to evade the forecheck. But what I really like about Chase is the fact that he's starting to embrace that physicality that he's as he's growing into his size and his power. And that's kind of carving his own path from the family tree, the genetics, which are amazing. We're going to see another generational player here, NHL, by way of family, but nice to see.
Yeah, if you look now at all the skill they've drafted,
Okay.
it's a good mix, right? This is a power forward, right? All guys that can sort of have all the talent.
Got one player in the chat. One player. One person in the chat. Thank you for sticking around, by the way. Number 29.
The first round here, 3 picks to go. Vegas, Montreal, Chicago. Again, the Columbus Blue Jackets making 3 selections in this first round. The third one is with Jackie.
Next up is Vegas. Vegas. The Golden Knights. They're interviewing a Columbus player now. I think it's Kuhlman's, the defenseman. I'm just going to turn that down for the time being. That last pick was way off the board. Chase Stillman. Right winger. Yeah, How's that going to work out for Jersey? I think they left a lot of good players on the board there. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but there was a lot of good players left that they could have picked from. That's pretty amazing. They must know something else no one else knows. So this was the okay. They mentioned that the number 25 pick was originally the Toronto Maple Leafs pick, which ironically they really need some right shot defensemen, which is funny that Columbus would pick one. That's probably their biggest need right now is a good right shot defenseman. They haven't seen it in a very long time. So now next on the clock is Vegas. We're just over a minute and a half left till that happens, or less. Whoever you are, thanks for watching. Okay. Back to the panel.
A lot of great stories.
Wow.
Shout out right away. So Vegas is on the clock now, just over a minute to go. As you can see, is the first round coming to a close. Rounds 2 through 7 tomorrow. Just the first round here tonight as the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, man, you talk about hitting the franchise out of the ballpark early on. Still haven't really got that cup yet. But they go to the finals in your first year, then you lose in the first
Vegas.
round. And then 2 straight conference finals.
Still have Peyton Krebs.
With some prospects.
Jack Dugan.
That are in the system there. And what do you make of these fellas?
A couple of first rounders. Yeah. Brendan Brisson.
Brendan Brisson from last season.
3 first round picks. They had Suzuki. They had Brandstrom there. And they're all gone now. It's interesting how you move parts around when you know you're that.
They've moved a lot of their
looks like he's going to be a fantastic player.
Draft picks. Jordan McPhee is known for doing that.
Let's see what Vegas does here. Commissioner Gary Beck.
From Las Vegas, Nevada, the Vegas Golden Knights selection will be made by Kelly McCrimmon.
How was their
who's the
number
Golden
30?
Knights general manager, and he will be making the 30th selection in the draft. Kelly?
Interesting.
From the Gatineau Olympic of the Canadian Hockey
Here we
League,
go.
the Vegas Golden Knights are proud to select Zach Dean.
Zach Dean.
There we go. 2-way player. Grandpa Bob was inducted into the Newfoundland Hall of Fame. That's huge.
Oh, yeah.
My nana was from Newfoundland. My dad's mom immigrated when she was 18 to South Boston from Newfoundland. So,
Zach Dean. Okay, here we go.
What can you tell us, Sam?
He's a center, left shot. Excellent 2-way player that can do it all. Has second gear where he can beat guys wide. 23 games in the QMJHL. He had 10 goals, 10 assists. That's in Quebec. He's 6 foot, 176 pounds. And they compare him, in the Hockey News anyways, to Alex Killorn. Huh. He doesn't look like he played in the – oh, no, he didn't. Okay. So he's played in the Q the last couple of seasons in the Quebec League. Huh. I'll let you listen to what they're saying about him here.
Utilize that speed to get there
hold your spot, show a little bit of that.
Centerman. Vegas desperately needs centerman now, but there he is right there.
So I like what this guy brings to the table. It's that speed is the basis for the success in his game.
Exactly, and I like the fact that he's playing a tight box, a little tighter box.
Yeah,
Gatineau, the good Robert Gertz Arena in Gatineau. That's a tiny barn and playing across.
Yeah, ranked 29th by the Hockey News overall, 46th overall by International Scouting.
Forces you to have to think.
Goes 30th.
Have to really be able to process and execute all in one in tight confined spaces. So I think that's an advantage for him.
It sounds like a George McPhee kind of guy, right?
Yeah,
he played, right?
Exactly. Well said.
I had a beer thrown at me at that.
Only one. Yeah, only one. But at the Gertz part, yeah,
it was closed. Drank it out.
I don't like it. Why would you not? Why would you not drive on? That boys. Keep going, boys. Keep going. I like it. So good. 2 more good cigars. So good.
Montreal is on the clock, and then Chicago.
Montreal's on the clock.
I think they switch with Columbus all over the world. Every country celebrating this great moment as you're drafted in the first round of the National Hockey.
Okay. Still going here. 3.5 hours later. Got a Snake Eyes commercial happening. I'm curious. I was big on G.I. Joe when I was a kid. Snake Eyes is one of my favorite G.I. Joe guys. I don't think I'll watch that in theater, but
Are we still talking about shawarma? I don't believe this. That's good shawarma. Okay. I don't like this. I like this shawarma. I don't like this movie.
Skip the Dishes commercial was pretty cool.
You are not saying anime. Gamnos. Rikasen. You're in no condition. Rain. Don't be a fool. I'm begging you. Trust me. You are I.
What?
Way too high.
That was a Pirate Rolling Papers commercial. It was fantastic. Oh, I wish you could have seen that. That was, yeah, crazy commercial. Did not expect to see that for sure. All right. Still a lot of good players on the board. And I think a lot of teams tomorrow who traded away their first round draft picks are going to get some good players. That's what I think is going to happen. Okay. All right. Shall I type something in here? I mean, you can hear me anyway, but two more picks. Should only be 2 more picks. I saw 3 more listed on their board. I don't know why. It's got to be only Montreal and Chicago left. So, yeah, there's that. Okay. Performing for one person. One. This is crazy. I think in the first year that I did this in the draft, I don't ever remember it being this few people watching. I mean, I think I even went out of the way to do a bit more promoting when it came to this, live reaction video, which is a little baffling. I mean, it's maybe because it's on so late at night right now. Maybe the fact that it's in late July and nobody cares. Here we go. Montreal's pick.
At the Bell Center, which will host our next draft, Mark Bergevin, the general manager of the Montreal Canadiens.
Even Bettman looks like he's about to pass out.
In the 2021
he's tired.
NHL draft.
It looks like he's just had about at least 3 whiskey sours.
Avec le 31 choix au total, les Canadiens de Montréal sont fiers de sélectionner with our 31st pick overall in the NT draft, the Montreal Canadiens are proud to select the Knights de London défenseur Logan Mailloux.
Logan Mailloux, a defenseman, 6'3", 212 pounds, right shot, 48 games, 18 goals, 50 assists. Wow. Some of the biggest upside in this draft, end-to-end ability, and bomb of a shot. Logan Mailloux. Oh, this was that player. This is a player that took himself out of the draft. But he still got picked by Montreal.
Deal with this, ask for forgiveness, and get through it, and get on with his hockey life, we assume.
Interesting. This is a player who took a picture of a girl while they were had some sexual relations, and he posted it.
Maybe in the history of the draft. We went to the 4th round last
Wow, Logan Mailloux. Really didn't expect him to be picked today. I wonder if Montreal's going to renounce this pick later. We'll wait to see what the reaction is online, which should probably be huge. Wow, the player renounced himself from the draft, and he still got picked.
I have a hard time with that. And the thing is, when you're looking at
yeah, Montreal's going to feel some hurt for this one. They compare him to Vince Dunn.
I have a daughter. I would be very concerned.
He's picked ranked 45th overall by the Hockey News.
We need to talk a little bit about second chances. We live in this
50th overall international scouting services.
Either. And so you must think, as Mark Bergevin and the Montreal Canadiens, that you're going to be able to support not just the player, but the victim and the victim's family. We can't forget about them here. So without a doubt, the most polarizing pick I have ever seen.
This is the most polarizing pick. 6'3", 214 pounds, right shot defenseman. Yeah, this is going to be all over social media. Check it right now. It's welcome to the shitstorm. Interesting. Funny that they were interested in Tony DeAngelo too at some point too. A PR nightmare.
So I'm shocked. There's no
wow.
imagination in the CPA for a player to technically pull himself out of the registry.
Holy cow.
He was always available, although on Twitter on July 20th, he renounced himself. I'm fascinated.
They're not going to the video on this guy.
Shocked at this pick.
That's him right there.
Yeah, I would say that, there's 32 lists of 32 teams that have their players, and he's on one. He's on one, and Montreal's taken him. I will say, they have a ton of former NHL players there that dive into character, spend a lot of time in it. Obviously, they feel comfortable, but the other teams here were at the end of the draft in the first round. Other teams felt the opposite.
He is a first-round talent. On the ice, he is a first-round talent.
No question. From a talent standpoint, there's no question. But you have to weigh the character. I mean, character is something.
The desk doesn't know what to say about this guy right now.
Regardless of our age or work in this game, we're always. I know in my case, I felt like I was walking on a tightrope over Niagara Falls with no safety net, and it doesn't always mean that you step every time with the right step, but for the most time you do. In an instance like this,
right shot defenseman.
Egregious act that took place, and you hope for him and his sake, and more importantly for the victim's sake, that they're able to come to a place
in Sweden in 19 games.
On her side, her family side, and for him as a young man,
7 goals, 15 points, 32 penalty minutes.
The poor decisions that he made and his personal development. Yeah, because a lot of what we do here isn't only playing and working the business and whatever role. A lot of it is personal development too, and character and those things for him. Where he's going to
interesting.
And lots of questions will be answered in Montreal.
Yeah, this will
bring him in now for more. Elliot.
Here's Elliot
First of all,
Friedman.
I just want to reiterate something that Sam mentioned. Even though Logan Mailloux came out recently and said he didn't want to be selected from the draft, you can't technically renounce yourself from the draft. If you're eligible, you're eligible. So this was Montreal's choice, even though Mailloux had taken himself out, quote unquote. This was something the Canadiens were allowed to do. You can't officially take yourself out of the draft. Just a couple other notes on Montreal today. First of all, the Canadiens, one of the wildest stories of the week was Carey Price and just his situation and the fact he was left unprotected in the expansion draft for the Seattle
Montreal just can't get out of the news right now.
Knee surgery today. They said he's going to be okay for the start of the season. That's the expectation. He also had some other areas of himself looked at, but they decided no surgery was needed. So Price, the Canadiens do expect he will be ready to play at the start of the 21-22 season.
All right, Elliot Friedman with the very latest there in Montreal. So the Canadians pick us in. One more pick to go.
Oh.
Chicago Blackhawks. Here's the commissioner. There you go.
The Chicago Blackhawks
One
were
more pick.
making the 32nd selection in the first round.
Come on, end this.
2021.
End it, Gary.
Draft, which is obviously the last pick of the round. We now go to Stan Bowman, president.
Yeah, it is the last pick of the round.
And general manager for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Thank God.
At the Fifth Third Arena. He's joined by 8 staff members who are
And
advancing
this.
women in our game. Stan?
Here we go. Chicago, another organization of.
I'm proud to have 8 talented, accomplished women here with me who are crucial to the success of our hockey operations and youth
I
hockey.
was going to say conspiracy,
Over
but
the last 2 years, we've been determined to add perspective and knowledge that has made us a better staff and organization. This is just the beginning for us.
Bowman is being questioned and investigated because of what happened back in 2010. I won't get into that, but
Thanks, Stan. With the 32nd overall pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft, the Chicago Blackhawks are proud to select from the Prince Albert Raiders, Nolan Allen.
Nolan Allen. He is a 6'2" left shot defenseman. Covers a lot of ice with great mobility, real firm game, and eliminates guys defensively. 16 games, 1 goal, 1 assist from the WHL Prince Albert. Davidson, Saskatchewan. 6'2", 195 pounds, shoots left. Good defensive defenseman. Nolan Allen. Let's see how far off the block he is. Nolan Allen.
So you have confidence in that area. But this is a guy who's very good at the draft. He looks to me as if he's projected to be that complementary defenseman. He's good first pass guy, can transport the puck a little bit. He's really agile.
Okay, here we go. He's ranked 53 at third overall by the Hockey News. Number 15 by International Scouting. Interesting. He's compared to Calvin DeHaan, again by the Hockey News. Huh. Wow. They're comparing him to Brent Seabrook on the NHL Network here.
Having some of those tough matchups in front of the net, doing some of the dirty stuff, but also a very agile skater, smooth skater as well. So that's
him, Nolan Allen.
The Chicago Blackhawks, so we got a player in that mold.
You're going to make their fans happy by saying that. That's great. Yeah. It's a little like we thought we'd see the rankings. Some guys would jump up with the limited viewings. We didn't see as much, but here we see it, and obviously they feel pretty strongly about him. And if he's anything like Seabrook,
That's one of the more popular players from that amazing Chicago Blackhawk era of the last decade. So that is it. The first round.
There we go.
There it is.
First round on the books, yeah.
As the first round in 2021 is finished. We're not done yet. After a quick timeout, we'll come back and talk about the first and wrap it up.
Yeah, I think I'm done. They're going to come back and talk about this. But that's it for the first round. Again, Chicago just picked Nolan Allen, left shot defenseman, ranked 53rd by the Hockey News, 15th overall by International Scouting. He goes number 32nd. A big controversial pick in Milieu at 31 by the Montreal Canadiens. I expect that to be all over social media right now. And I will see you tomorrow. We got one person watching at the moment, but that's okay. We're just having some fun here. Cheers, santé, salut. Prost and skål. Please don't forget, if you're watching this after the fact, to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, which will alert you when my next video comes out. I'll be doing round 2 tomorrow, but you'll probably you'll probably be watching this after that happens anyways. I'll be talking about some trades and NHL news. Obviously, thank you again so much for watching. And don't forget to be kind to each other out there in this crazy world we're living in. And I will see you soon. Signing off. Arrivederci.